What's good, everyone? Welcome to our live chat where we're about to have a discussion about last night's episode. I hope everybody has come open and willing to get really deep, not really, into last night's episode. So I'm going to go ahead and let these ladies introduce themselves. Alicia will be joining us a little later. And Sam, I thought you was coming in. Okay, so Lady D, why don't you go first? Because you haven't been on in a while. So why don't you go first and say hello to the peoples?
All right. Hey, guys. It's Lady D. I haven't been back. Well, I haven't been around for a while, but I'm back. And last night's episode was crazy. I thought it was awesome. I have a lot to say about it. It's not trying to get deep, but I have a lot to say about it because I really think that there were some themes that were followed last night. Everybody had a theme, and I think that it's going to be a really good season. It's going to be really nice, long episodes packed full of, I think, Easter eggs for the book, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to get into it.
Hey everyone, it's T. I'm not getting on camera today. I got a major headache, so I'm laying down while I'm talking to you guys, which sound, I don't know, it's kind of cool. I love this episode. It wasn't like the best thing I've ever seen, but it definitely like got me back into the Game of Thrones and wanting to rewatch old episodes again. And I agree with B that I do think this is going to be a really good season. I love the way everything was shot. And I don't know, maybe it was because I was watching it on my 55-inch, but I loved it.
Hey, Sam, why don't you go say hello to the peoples?
Hi, everybody. I'm here. I didn't get the link because it was on my computer and I was on my phone, but I'm here.
Without further ado, I'm just going to briefly say, do you want to say hello to everybody? Because you keep trying to come into my shot. Say hi for Demi. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, now go watch your other show.
Hi, cutie pie.
He can't hear you because I got my headphones on. I'm not trying to give him that much shine because they always try to steal my thunder. So I have a very unsullied perspective in a lot of this, and just so you guys know, I have not watched a preview for the next episode, so I'm going to be going cold every episode because I'm not watching previews. So if you guys want to talk about the preview for the next one, I will gladly mute myself and so that I don't hear what's going on, so you guys can carry on the conversation, because I'm sure.
Can I just say one thing to T? I am now on Team T. Jorah needs to stop touching people.
He's really going out of his way to touch it. If you watch that scene over, and of course I had to watch it over, but if he's sitting here and your right arm is the closest to that little window, he's literally going out of his way to touch people with that nasty, dirty hand that's only getting dirtier. Like he's literally, you're locked in a fucking cage or whatever. It's a reason why you're in there, and you decide, you know what, let me just touch shit no matter what. Like, let me get that one little opportunity to touch it, like pocket and back away. I just don't understand why he keeps touching shit. It blows my mind. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
It's disgusting. I know he's not real. I know he's not real, but it's just like, you can imagine. He's. I said this in a video. It's like he's that guy at work that's sick and keeps sneezing on you. And it's like, take your sick ass home. Like, no one wants to go around having grade scales because the dude couldn't keep his hands to his fucking self. That shit. Whatever. I'm so over him.
We need to go ahead and have a campaign on.
I'm saying, like, stop touch. There's no reason for him to touch shit. That shit looks so fucking disgusting. And he still keeps doing it. Like, even his body language, like, you have to literally rotate your body about 45 degrees to put your hand out. It's like all this. You could have said, when Sam came up there, he could have held up with his good hand and just say, "Hey, have you heard of Stormborn?" No, he want to knock shit out. And now it's like, who's gonna touch? Why couldn't he wear gloves? Whatever. Never mind. It's so fucking disgusting.
They ran out of money. They couldn't give him the purple.
Oh, it makes me so fucking angry because to die this season, but your dirty ass, he gets to survive and keep touching shit.
I'm telling you, it's usually the animals that that survive the apocalypse. I'm trying to tell y'all.
Dirty Jordan.
All right, so let's start with the opening scene. So, and the way that I have never, I don't recall, I didn't rewatch last season, but I don't recall them starting the opening scene with like they'll do like a montage of like the previous season or whatever it is. That's what I remember. Mm-hmm. And then they'll go into the musical sequence. I keep forgetting, but the opening music sequence. This time around, they actually started with a whole scene, which was different to me. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was confused for a second. I was really confused when I first started watching that because I was like, "Am I on the right season? Why is Walder Frey there? I mean, he's dead, right? Didn't Arya murk him at the end of last season? Why is he?" I said, "Oh," and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, maybe they're just repeating the same thing." But then he goes, then he talks about how they're doing another feast within a fortnight. I'm like. Mm-hmm. It didn't click in my brain, right? That this is Arya. Hello.
Yeah, BBM.
The second
BBM made a good point. The only other season that started like that was season 1.
Okay, I didn't. But thank you for
the second I saw Walder Frey, I was like, "Oh, this bitch didn't put on his face," and I was like, "We in for a treat." That was like one of my favorite. I had like a few favorite scenes, and even though I know we'll probably talk more on the Songs of John thing, but one of my favorite scenes was that opening scene with Arya, and she just the way she was just looking at everyone drink up, and she's like, yeah, drink this shit. She's like, I'm about to, y'all so tough. And this is how I know I'd be downplaying a lot of people like Jamie, like, oh, you're not that tough because you stabbed a senior citizen. Arya kind of played it just like that, like, you're not tough because you stabbed a pregnant lady and a mother of 5. You know what I'm saying? So I love she was trolling them. And then I liked how she was saying, like, let them know that she said winter was here, and that's like a Stark saying. So I love the fact that she was just like, fuck all this talking shit. I'm wiping everyone out.
Lady D. Oh, I'm sorry. Timo, say hello to the peoples. How's she gonna just come in?
I know. I'm always late. Hey guys, love the episode. I think it was one of probably my favorite openers of this series. To fit my favorite premiere of this series, definitely.
Thank you, Sansa.
You're right.
I'm gonna try not to get triggered by Santa talk. Okay, I had a pseudo strongly worded debate with someone last night, so I'm going to try to keep my stance to hatred.
It's okay, Timo. It's okay. Yeah. As long as we understand that she's not real. She's not real.
I know it's hard. I'm working on that.
Lady D, what you got for the opening scene?
All right, so Arya, the opening scene, I'm calling this Arya's revenge. Like, I sat here and I was just like, oh, this is amazing. Like, everybody had a little theme, and Arya's was definitely the stranger. Arya was the stranger in this episode. She came reaping. And we knew it was going to happen. We were like, now she's clearing out the room. And before she goes anywhere, she's going to clean house, and she's going for Cersei. So let's take it from the top. I think my favorite part, not favorite part of this, but in the beginning, let's start from the beginning. We're sitting here, we're watching it, and I started yelling out, "It's Arya. It's Arya," because she's standing there. So I'm freaking out, of course, geeking out. Arya, it's Arya. Like, I know it is. She's killed Walter, so obviously she has a space now. And she just stands up, and it's funny because she's like messing with them now. She's like, stupid that you are. Nobody think it's suspicious that y'all having another feast in 2 weeks. Who cares? I'm king of the Riverlands, basically, right? Nobody cares that, like, you haven't seen your other brothers in however long. Nobody cares that I literally called every Frey, and she said it, every Frey that is worth a damn. Like, I called you all here. No one cares. Yeah, taste this Arbor Gold, and the wine is red. Like, there's so many things wrong with the scene. And it's just like, wow, they cannot see. Arya has been trained to see. So she doesn't just see things anymore. She sees. And she sees in ways that they don't see. Because there's no way in the hell somebody's going to tell me they're pouring me some Arbor Gold and it comes out red. And I'm like, this is okay. Like, she put the cup up to her lips and she didn't drink. Did no one see that? Like, nobody paid any attention. So I think that little breadcrumbs. And then when she finally just let it all out and started with the speech, like, yeah, thank you so much for helping me slaughter an entire family and a woman that was pregnant and a mother of 5 children, like basically sentencing them, in the way that the Northerners do. They read out your crimes, like, you saying? You got anything to say for yourself, basically, like. And then the last crime that they have is the fact that they left one Stark alive. Like, your last and your greatest crime, House of Frey, is that you left one of us alive. And, the culling happened. I thought it was a great opening scene. It's definitely one of my favorite opening. It was like a continuation of the finale for me, of the season finale from last season. That was long. Yeah.
Hey, AK. Could you just go ahead and say hi to the peoples?
Hey, everyone.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I read Timo's comment.
Hey,
AK.
Do you want to? Do you have anything that you want to add about the opening scene?
Arya's life. There's not a whole lot more besides that. Arya's life. My girl came in and she did the damn thing, and I don't understand why nobody called bullshit, but that's what happens when you're a dumbass Frey.
The only one that was smart was Walder, the old man. Probably the only other smart Frey they had was Black Walder.
He thought, no, Walder thought he was smart. It didn't really work out for him that well in the end.
That's true. He got complacent because he thought he had protection from the Lannisters. So he got real complacent, got real, he was relaxed and he thought he won everything. And that is the best way to catch somebody, right? Because when they think that's how Tywin ended up dying.
Hold on.
He thought, I'm winning.
I'm sorry. Sir, you shut your damn mouth right now. Don't be mad because your baby boo is gonna die. Don't be mad. Okay.
She going for your boo.
All of the phrase that mattered.
But she BBM kind of has a point there, because Arya said, you thought you killed all the Starks, but like something about one wolf surviving can kill the sheep or something like that.
And the Fraser sheep, who the fuck are they gonna kill?
I'm just saying, she kind of didn't kill the Freys either. So I mean, it kind of goes whatever. I'm Team Arya all the way, so don't get it twisted. I'm just saying,
hold
like,
on.
Sound like it.
I gotta defend my girl here. She made it a point of saying everyone in that room was somehow involved with the Red Wedding.
Go. There you go.
So
they were cheering when she was saying about the Red Wedding. Oh, you stabbed this and all that. They were cheering, so there's no remorse. So definitely, I don't feel bad for not one person. I don't feel bad for no one on this show.
She made it a point of listing the faults that they had against her family. They thought they killed all of the Starks, and they didn't.
And another thing that I want to point out also, remember, the Freys don't care about other Freys dying because there's so many of them. The next Frey is just trying to get up to the next line of succession. So they don't really care. But all the ones that really do well, that's why she called all the ones that mattered. The ones that mattered are the ones that she killed off, meaning the other Freys that are there are insignificant. You know what I mean? Because when you look at it and in its totality, a lot of these Freys are not really that smart. And if your name is Frey, you got a walking target on you anyway. You've just got a target on you anyway. So when you get rid of all of the important Freys, all them other Freys are just gonna scatter because they were essentially under the protections of the Freys that mattered. And so when you don't have that protection anymore, and your name essentially makes you a target just by the fact that you're a Frey, you're gonna be looking to just lay low. Because if somebody was able to take out all of the major Freys, what makes you safe?
Can I just a little 2 cents here? It's on topic, but not really. I really want to say I love the way David Bradley acted. I mean, he acted as if he was Arya. Like, it was certain tells that Arya had that we know Walder Frey didn't have. You know what I'm saying? The way he talked was more like he was trying to sound menacing, where the real Walder Frey automatically sounds. I just love the way that whole thing was acted. To me, that overshadowed like what was going on, because I was like, fuck, he's really acting like he's trying to be himself. It was weird.
Yeah, I like that too.
Okay, so do we have anything else that we want to add with respect to the opening scene?
Yeah, I can't. Oh, go ahead.
On the broke black man, on the leaving some of the Freys alive, it looks like he left most of the women alive. And the women are going to marry, so there goes that. And then the woman right next to Walder Frey, or Arya, Walder Frey, Arya in faceless costume, is probably his wife, right? Like his new wife. So she ain't a Frey. Most of them women that are quote Freys now because of name and that are in that hall are probably not actually Freys. So I think she definitely cleaned house. And then the political fallout, the aftermath of what's going to happen now, because you have all of these unmarried women who are wherever they are in the succession for the twins, is definitely going to be something interesting if they show it in the show.
I think it's also Arya knows that none of the women in the Frey household or the women that were present at that event had anything to do with killing her family. And she's only out for revenge against the people that killed her family.
Well, I just hope that she is successful in her endeavors to kill the queen.
Oh no. Oh my god, that'd be horrible. That would be horrible. I would be really mad at Arya if she does that. I'm not gonna lie.
And it's funny because I would feel the exact opposite way. I think that she should kill her. Like, she's been talking since like season 1 or season 2. No, I think season 1 about killing. It's not going to happen this season, but fingers crossed for next one.
Well, Cersei is I believe Cersei is one of the, I want to say she's kind of like an endgame character. I mean, she's going to die before any of the other characters die. Like, she's going to die before Arya. She's going to die before Jaime. She's going to die before, but she is part of that endgame character because she has a major role to play in what's going to go down in King's Landing. So she probably may not die this season. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I just know they're all gonna die, but I'm just saying when that'll take place. I don't foresee her dying this season, at least not in my opinion. But if she does, I won't say that I'm gonna be like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I think she's gonna die.
I have to make a point to BBM. BBM, Arya hates Cersei because Cersei tried to kill Nymeria.
And she killed
And
Lady.
she killed her daddy.
Yeah, she killed Lady instead, but she tried to kill Nymeria. She wanted Nymeria.
In BBM's defense, Arya wants to kill people for the most trivial reasons. Like,
wow.
You know, even in the books. No, in the books too. Like, she just
But
wanted to kill
Cersei
people for
does
no
the
damn reason.
exact same thing. Cersei does the exact same thing.
I don't think that trying to kill people who slaughtered your family is trivial.
No, like in the books, there was somebody she wanted to kill just because, like, I think he hit someone or I forgot what it was.
That was the house.
So,
I was like, really?
I know that wasn't it the Hound?
No, it was somebody in Harrenhal.
Well, what happened was the person hit the other person so hard that I think either their tooth got knocked or something. They were disfigured. I think it was Wheeze or something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
He had a really bad habit of not only of beating her, but beating other people.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
she put so that's. But you also had to understand too in the book, she's still like 9-10 years old. So kids are very when they get mad, they're very they don't have like the maturity to say, because even she mentions it to herself in the books that, you know, she was a little bit too quick to want to mention Weeze's name to Jaqen as the one person. She needed to save it for the ones that really mattered, which was Tywin Lannister. But she kept naming all the wrong people because she allowed her anger to, you know what I mean, her emotions to take place or to drive her decision making. But again, she's like 9-10 years old, so you know.
I'll give
That's how it goes.
Cersei gets an excuse too.
Cersei gonna die though. She gonna die. It's just a matter of who is it that's gonna kill her and what is her death gonna be like. I think
Cersei never knew who she was. She had to battle her whole life with identity problems. Yeah, you know, I mean,
no,
I think she can
envy. She's
exactly, and that
she's a narcissist. And
I know.
Maybe she's probably
Cersei and Sansa are the same person.
Negative.
It's just so funny.
Oh,
Y'all are closet Sansa fans.
We'll get to that.
All right, so we're gonna move on from the opening scene, and then we're gonna go to the next scene that I want to mention is the Night King and his army of the dead. So I'm gonna go down the line just to make it AK, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts on the huge fog of death that came rolling. That's pretty much how I saw that. A huge fog of death and destruction.
Oh my God.
There were giant whites, which we knew they were coming, but still they were a pleasure and a joy and a terrifying sight to see.
Oh my God. Fog of death, I like that. Lady D? Lay down, sweetheart. Go ahead, lay down.
Me, that scene, I was trying to figure out after I went through and watched it. At first, the first time seeing it is like, oh my gosh, check this out. And I'm thinking, all right, well, now we know they bring the storm, like they created. The storm doesn't happen as a result of them, like they're coming. It's like they're camouflage. It's a part of like their military movement. It's them, definitely. So that I feel like that answers that question. And then, and you watch coming back and wondering or not he's seeing what the Hound is seeing right now. The Hound first mentions the mountain. And that's the first thing that we see in Bran's vision. We see the mountains, right? And then we see the army. And I don't see the cliff that is shaped like an arrowhead, but we do see the mountain back there. So I'm wondering, same thing. And is it coming from the same source? Is the Lord of Light then definitely connected to whatever is actually powering.
And I'm also glad that there was no white Hodor to be seen, at least not yet. I didn't want to cry this episode.
Dude, I was waiting. I was like, where's Hodor? I did. I was like, where's Hodor? Because I sure enough was looking for him in that fog or sea of death that you just mentioned. I was like, I don't see Hodor, and I don't see Summer. But that would be I won't be surprised.
I don't want to see either one of them. I wouldn't be surprised if they're there, but I don't want to see either one of them.
Yo, if they had them there, I think everybody would have flipped. I think everybody would have lost their shit.
I just said in the chats, no, I can't see White Hodor. I will stop watching the show. I can't. I'll just cry and cry and cry.
And yes, BBM, you are absolutely right. Hey, White Hodor is not Hodor anymore. If I'm in the situation and my life is on the line, somebody's head is getting chopped off and set on fire. I'm just saying. You gonna sit there and kill you?
Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go. Sorry. Shank. What do you got, T?
I loved it. I freaked out. I was, I don't know. Y'all know I get excited really easy, which is kind of sad, but I was like, oh shit, like this. It made me think of Hard Home, because remember they hurried up and they closed the gate, so we didn't get to see what happened. We only got to hear what happened. So it was cool to kind of how they flipped it, so you did kind of see what happened. Like the storm came and it camouflaged and it killed them, but when you saw one giant, I was like, oh shit. And then I started looking, I was like, wait, is it another one? Then I was like, okay. Then I said, I know that they're going to fuck with us and we're going to see a White Hodor. All right, know that shit's coming. I can't wait for it. It's going to be really fucked up, but I can't wait for it. And I didn't even think about a White Summer, but they're going to fuck with us and give us that because they're sick bastards and I love that shit. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is like, I'm glad that Bran got to the wall. So it seems like with Bran, we're going to get more of the visions. He's going to be that connection from us, like kind of seeing what's going on as far as the Night's King. But man, that whole shot of it coming slowly and it's quiet, it's got this eerie feel to it. And then you see the eyes of the whites, and you just see that this army just stretches so far out. It's just, that scene just was crazy. And then of course when they got to the one thing I was kind of confused though was when they got to the wall. Like Mira said her name, and then once he said, I'm Brandon Stark, the dude was just like, oh, okay. And it wasn't until he actually said, like, I saw you at the first
Fist of the First Man.
The Fist of the First Man in that Hard Home, that he's like, okay. But you would think that as soon as he said Stark, his antennas would have popped up. I know that's so minor, but it was just like, what? Oh, okay, but whatever. But I'm glad that
antennas.
Right, it's like, but I digress. I'm not going, because look, he probably stressed out. Look, it's White Walkers coming to his door. They the first defense, so I get it. I'm not even going.
He the Lord Commander.
And you hear Stark, and you still looking at him like, come on, no nuts.
I thought all of you were dead. I thought all y'all was dead.
Yeah, so I get it, but still, that scene was just really good. Like that was one of my second favorite scenes. Just that shot of them coming out.
Hey Sam, did you see? I know you made that comment about Hodor. Did you want to add anything? I know you were just making a commentary. I'm sorry, I passed.
No, just simply that if I see a direwolf or Hodor, I'm gone. I can't.
She say that, but another episode, you'll be back.
Everybody,
you'll love them in the morning.
I will only be back for Arya. But if Arya dies and that happens, I'm done.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead and save you all the heartache. Just be prepared that your boo ain't gonna make it to the end. But it's okay. It's bittersweet. Just hope that she wargs Let's just hope that she wargs into Nymeria.
We don't know
She's just
that.
not out
I'll
here.
still die if that happens. Yeah.
We don't know that. She could survive
On
to
a
the
TV
end.
show, it might happen though.
Let's just hope. Let's just hope. Yeah.
George said it's
There's
gonna be
no hope.
bittersweet.
There is no hope for this story. I refuse.
All hope is dead.
I'll make
All
one
hope is
thing, but I refuse to hope.
Listen. I hold on to hope because George said it's gonna be bittersweet, but he never said that every character is gonna die. And his wife's favorite character is Arya, and I think she might kill him if he kills her. So
Yeah, but
maybe.
she'll be mad. She'll be mad for a couple of days, but she'll be back because he'll write another story.
Maybe.
She'll be all right. She'll be all right.
Just-
She's been killing. He's been killing off characters for a living for a while now. Nobody is safe. No one is safe.
Just to
Timo, what
add-
you got?
Yeah, just to add, like, really the small things. I agree with everything you guys said. I like. I wonder if Doris had asked if they were wildlings because, like, I don't know if him and John have this, like, send all the wildlings to Eastwatch. Like, was he going to say, "Hey, wrong door, go down the road"? You know, I don't know. But like, I'm going to say this a lot. I fucking love the cinematography this episode. So that whole scene was just like amazing. And I love the fact that we were in a brand's vision, but we didn't know we were in a brand's vision. So if they do the scenes like that, that's a lot better than just having him like go in the vision, like, okay, it's a flashback. No, we see stuff and we don't even know. I had no idea we were in the brand vision until I went back to rewatch it. I was like, oh shit. You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
And speaking of
So-
Ed, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of Ed, I just appreciate that when he asked, you know, how do I know that you're actually his brother? Brand just picked his head up and looked at him. Like, bitch, what? I don't
What you say?
have time for these questions.
You don't see
Do
that
y'all
my legs
see-
don't work. Like,
Brandon, you didn't give two fucks.
Like, you were at hard home. A, B,
right,
and
like you see this
and we
lady out here, you know that these White Walkers is down on their way down here, and you want to question me about some dumb shit. So what if I even wasn't in Grand Start? If I was just a wildling, like, nigga, let me in. Like, come on, kid, don't be so stupid, man.
I think you look that's the face that he had. You're exactly right. That's the face he had.
Camila just got hot chocolate because she had to-
Brand's like, but I'm tired.
Mira been dragging this like 300 foot.
Right.
Can't she get a fucking chair and something hot to drink first?
Yo,
Brand-
Brand is like eight feet tall, man. Brand is like 8 feet tall. She's dragging this dude around. She's like, Mira, can I got some water?
No, I like how he said, "Come on in," and she just walked in like, "Yeah, y'all handle that."
She dropped that shit so fucking fast. She's like, I'm not pulling nobody ever in life again.
She was like,
I
I'm
wish somebody would turn me around and say, well, I don't know if you right. Like, the fuck?
Oh
Like,
my
I hope the
God.
Night King stabs you just for some petty shit.
That was a thing. Brand had.
Brad was just like, you know what? I'm over this shit. Like, you know, I saw your dumb ass at Hard Home. Like, let me in.
Brain got
Was like John's brother either. Like
Oh my
everything
God.
he said had nothing. Didn't even answer Ed's question.
Brain got petty
That
for a
was
second.
hilarious.
Ed has seen enough shit to where he's like, okay, John been spouting off some random creepy shit, and this dude is spouting off some random creepy. Okay, all right.
Come on in.
all right, you're related to John. You guys have the creepiness vibe.
Yeah,
All
something's
right.
fucking wrong with all.
But my thing is that even if he wasn't Brandon Stark and they were just two random wildlings, why would you not let them in knowing that if you don't let them in, that's just two more added on? So I'm just like, I'm with Brand on this. Like, just let me in. Don't, if you gonna question me on the other side of the wall. I don't want to be on the other side with the White Walkers and you question me about some dumb shit. Like,
Well, I
this
think
is
he
what
was
I'm saying. It's me and one other chick. You could take us on if it was that serious.
And you see me,
Like,
you see
let's
me
be
down here. He's like, you see me down here.
Yeah, like it's winter. It's not summer out here. Like this friends better than me.
You see
But I
me
think
down here being dragged by a 120-pound chick. Do I look threatening?
I just think Ed
Yeah,
acts because
guys
maybe
don't
him and
move.
John have a plan of where to put the wildlings versus like
I'm pretty sure they do.
just to make sure like everybody is still nice and calm and there's no like drama going on. Hey, if you're wildlings, we got special places for you. You know, like
There's still a question they could ask on the other side of the gate.
And yeah,
I could see if Brad was like standing up and it was 2 of them and it was 3 of them, then it's like, I mean, literally, she looks tired. Like, I'm not even pushing him no more. Like, she dropped it. She's like, look, I'm Mira. That's Brad. Like, let's go. I'm not even picking his ass up no more.
You just drop that shit like, I'm going inside.
I feel for her. She had to drag his ass for a minute.
Yo, did y'all see
You're
what
not-
Kim just said? Like Mira
What?
putting Brandon in the friend zone for that, and he would deserve that shit.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I can't even blame her. I can't even blame her.
Especially he got this little petty attitude and shit. Like really, be like,
I would too. Like, I'm not even gonna go there.
Mira was just out. She was done. She was like, all right, later, guys. You take care of him.
Look.
Mhm.
What's his face already left them. Benjamin already left them out there. When he left them, he gave him, first of all, he gave him rabbit smoothie. He gave him a rabbit smoothie the last time we saw them. Next, he took them and then he just dropped them off in front of a werewolf and be like, I wish you good fortune in the war to come, and then rode off. Who does that? That's your nephew. How you just gonna give him
Drop me off at the wall. You could have dropped me off at the wall. You gonna take the only force we got?
Pettiness runs in Starks.
Come on,
They just
bitch.
run in Starks.
Come on,
Starks
bitch.
are petty.
I'm with you on that one, T. Petty Starks.
I'm just saying.
Oh, they all petty. I agree with you on that.
I'm just saying look, he rescues them. Now he rescues them from the whites, which was cool. Thank you, Uncle Benjamin. You give me a rabbit smoothie. I'm not questioning you. I'm go ahead and drink this rabbit smoothie. But then the next thing you do is you drop me off in front of a werewolf and then wish me good fortune. And then you ride off. Just saying. And the look on Mira's face when he did that, like you just gonna leave us out here with no food and no water, and we just out here next to this tree.
Now, do you guys think that Bran was like, okay, that was a vision that he was seeing the White Walkers like in all that army, walking behind them. How far away do you think that is? Like, is that like his rear view mirror, or are they just roaming around getting more people? Like, do you think they're literally on their way to the wall this time?
Yeah.
I think
they're on their way to the wall, and I think I know we'll talk about it later, but I think it goes towards with the Hound saw and the Flames.
Yeah, they're going towards Eastwatch, I think.
So I don't think they're going to go to Castle Black.
No.
Marching. Yes. So now you see why I'm so upset that Jorah is living and Torrin might possibly.
Right?
You see how fucked up Martin is?
That's
or
fucked
should I
up.
say the showrunner?
And Jorah's ass still touching shit, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
You can't say I'm extra no
AK.
more. You cannot say I'm
AK, you totally missed it. T already went off on the Jorah touching shit. I said I'm now on Team T. I totally get it.
I've been on T's team. I've been hashtagging the hell out of that shit in everybody's damn chats.
He literally
Stop touching shit, Jorah.
I made a video about it. You guys can check it out. Try to get this intervention.
Yes. She did. You gotta check that video out.
It's hilarious.
It is.
Intervention. Jorah's intervention.
All right, we gotta move on.
Okay. Right.
All right. So, do we have anything to add about the Army of the Dead and Bran and Mira being at the wall?
Brittany, did you say anything?
No, I didn't have anything to say other than what I was talking about before. I do think that they're going to East Watch. I don't think they're going to go around the world. I think they're going to go East Watch. Mom said that he saw a mountain and then they saw a cliff and that they were passing that cliff. And the closest place to Hardhome, which is where that cliff was that they were falling down, the closest place to Hardhome is what is it, East Watch by the Sea? That's what John said. So I think that's where they're going to be. They're going to clash with Wildland.
Cool. That makes sense. That makes sense. At least because as you say that was the perfect setup for Tormund going to that area.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect setup.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either, but it's happening.
The second he said that, I'll talk more about it because I don't want to jump scenes, but yeah, that was one of my other favorite scenes of this episode.
Okay, so jumping from there, we're gonna go into Winterfell. So we get to Winterfell, and John is addressing his lords, and they're trying to lay out a battle plan, and he's talking about Dragon Class and how Dragon Class is the enemy that would help them to kill the White Walkers and how they need to mind that. And then also he mentions about how they're going to need boys and girls from the age of 10 to 16. I can't remember what the number is off the top of my head.
Everyone ages 10 to 60.
Thank you. And then he also mentions and not just the boys or the men. And then what's his name? Glover, right? The guy that played good. He was like, "You expect me to put a spirit in my daughter's hand and granddaughter's, and then little Lyanna." Can I tell you, I fell in love again. I fell in love again when Lady Lyanna Mormont stood up and be like, "Bitch, you're not gonna tell me how to defend my North." She said, "Every boy and girl gonna train to learn how to kill." Drop mic.
All fucking hands on deck. Mage taught that little girl every damn thing she needed to know about the world. She is telling grown men to shut the fuck up and sit down, and she is right in every damn word that came out of her mouth. We don't got time for the bullshit. Yes, you are going to put a spear in your granddaughter's hand because you know what? You're probably going to die. And you know what? Some of the men around you are probably going to die. And then
they're all going to die.
The granddaughter. Then what?
Exactly.
Get your ass together. We ain't got time for this petty shit.
And then the next thing we see, a couple of things that we see, and then we'll talk about. We see how John has immediately started to come into his role as the new king of the North, and how he's trying to lay out how he wants to defend and start his battle plan. One. And then we see how Sansa has, I think it's mostly because Littlefinger was there, because when we looked last season, when they first named him King of the North, she was cool until she peeped over, right? And then she remembered the words that he spoke to her. I'm assuming, because that's what her face said to me, that he's remembering what. If you don't get on this bed.
That auntie look.
Don't beat the babies.
Chill. I need you to chill. Thank you. So if remember what he said to her in the Godswood about him. She's supposed to be the Queen of North because she's like the true Stark, and her brother's a bastard. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, I think she was trying to exert her authority and trying to get her voice out there. And John was right in the sense that she tried to undermine him in front of all of the lords. And then another thing is, I like the way that John he he reminded me of something that Tywin said, right? Tywin made the comment to Joffrey that if somebody bends the knee to you, you can't kill all of your enemies, right? If you have an enemy who comes to you and bends the knee, you're supposed to help them up. You don't serve everybody steel. Because if you keep serving every person steel, you'll find that nobody will bend the knee to you. And I think, even though Jon never heard Tywin say this, I think that is something that probably all smart commanders know and they learn. And the second thing is, I think he's also taking into consideration what happened to his family, and he doesn't want to see the same thing happen to somebody else's family. So, and the only way to maintain loyalty from all of your other lords and to show mercy is to show some more mercy to your other lords. Just because their fathers were jerks doesn't mean that the kids are jerks, because they were still kids. It doesn't mean that they don't have any redeeming qualities. And then what else was going on in that scene? I think that's all I've got for now in that scene. So starting with you, AK. You there?
Hold on. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so say it again. We're starting with Sansa and her.
We're talking. We're gonna start with Jon as the whole Winterfell scene. So whatever it is that stood out to you most about that whole Winterfell scene, go ahead and you can speak about that.
I understood where Sansa was coming from, but you don't do that shit publicly like that, young lady. You shut the fuck up, then talk to your brother later. He would have listened to you, but still, what he said is what needed to be done. You can't be just looking for revenge, and if anybody's doing this for a reward, they're definitely going to die. You're not doing this for a reward. You're doing this so you can live right now. There's none of this petty shit. We don't have time for it. You are not going to give castles or raise castles that are the closest line of defense after the wall. What sense would that make? Leave it with the people that have been there, that know those lands, that know the ins and outs of that castle, that can work and station people where they need to be, so you might have a chance. Don't just, yeah. Her logic, I get where she was coming from, but her logic was not there. I already spoke about Lyanna. She was also life. Her and Arya were my two favorite scenes in the whole episode. Moving through the rest of that, I am glad they had that little talk after the whole soiree. So, we know that they're still on the same page. I didn't think Sansa really was going to try to go against Jon, like legit side with Littlefinger to try to sabotage some shit. I think she knows better, and I appreciated the bye Felicia that she hit him with. I was a little bit proud of her in that moment, and I didn't think I'd ever be proud of Sansa doing anything, but I appreciated that moment. That's about it.
I'm gonna agree with you on that point, because the one thing, if you haven't gotten it already, whenever you have a person who's in charge, you're always going to find somebody that's always going to try to kind of undermine you so that you can sow division. And that's what it does. It sows division, because when you have a person who's in authority, that person's word should be the last word. If you disagree with something that person says, you're supposed to take that person to the side and then, raise whatever grievances you have. That wasn't the time or the place for her to raise that up. She could have and I don't think Jon would have had a problem with her raising it up off to the side. But when you do that publicly in front of all of the lords, you're now making him look weak in front of everybody. And that's why I said at the moment she was trying to exert some authority. Was that your plan, to make him look weak in front of everybody? And then he also called you on your he also called you on it when you tried to have a discussion with him later, because when you tried to compliment him and then you came back with it, but he was like, I see what you're doing. I already reading what you're doing. You know what I mean? I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to butter me up, but you don't really believe anything that you just said. What you got for us, Lady D? I know you got something.
I think that the John scene, I really enjoyed John's scene. I just, but I have been telling you guys for a while that Sansa is a damn Lannister, and no one has been listening to me. I have been telling you guys that she's not a wolf, that she's a fish, that she goes with the tide, and or she's a Lannister. And I feel like really like an illustration of that. Like, follow this. Are you telling me in all of this time, this has been about 2 weeks, right? It's a fortnight. Are you still the phrase of a fortnight? So it's been about 2 weeks roughly. They've never had a conversation about what's going to happen with Alice Karstark and Ned Umber. You have never had the opportunity to go up to your brother and say, hey, what's going to happen with those kids and with those things, the whole thing of little things. You have someone from the Vale of Aaron standing up and always having a problem with the Wild and whatever else is going on. And then you have Sansa coming in with, well, this is what you should do. This is what you should do. It just sounds so much like Cersei instead of going along with what the laws are in the North. And the law says in the North that if you are a traitor, die. Not take away, the generations of your family. That is something that can be illustrated in the way that Balon Greyjoy was treated when he rebelled. It didn't take away everything from the set. Like, you figure out ways to do it. Figure out ways to do it, because it's easier to have people and have people thankful, and that's why those kids will probably be more loyal bannermen than has. They're so happy that they got their home back and their kids, their children too. The whole thing was a little finger, so I won't spend a long time on Sansa, but I just hate her. Anyway, Lyanna Mormont is a soldier. Like, we all know that. I love that little girl. That's great. And as far as the scene playing out, I do think that John's theme, I guess, for this episode is Jaehaerys the Conciliator, because he's really trying to kill the North. Whereas Sansa is more like, you should rule it by fear, like a Lannister. You tear down anyone who opposes, sort of thing. He's trying to bring the North back together so that they can all fight. I think that he's doing the right thing.
Cool. I think, just to add to your point, I think what happened is people, when they suffer traumatic experiences, whatever those traumatic experiences may be, even whether they be similar or whether they be different, they tend to take some lessons from that traumatic experience, and that's how they move forward with whatever future decisions that they make, right? So you have John, who has lived as a bastard for pretty much his whole life. He's never really known life outside of being a bastard, right? Because him being a bastard is what drove how other people treated him, right? Sansa, on the other hand, being a trueborn, has always been treated as, as a princess. You know what I mean? She's always been treated with kindness. She's pretty much had whatever she wanted. You know what I mean? She was always the good girl. And then it turns on its head. She comes to learn that all of the ugliness in the world, and now she suffers abuse, and now she suffers a lot of the things that, her brother probably suffered pretty much his whole life. You have gone from being, the apple of your daddy's eye to being nothing but, a pawn to whoever it is that wants to use you for whatever means or nefarious. And so in that scene where she talks about she learned a lot from Cersei, it's funny to me how there's this seems to be coming some sort of full circle. I don't know if it's the right term to use. It almost seems to be coming full circle in that she's taking the lessons from all of the people that learned, learning how to be manipulative, learning how to be ruthless, learning how to deal with your enemies and stuff like that. And she's taking those things as a means of how it is that she should move forward. She no longer deals in mercy. You know what I mean? Because mercy is something that you're supposed to be able to show to your fallen enemies or those that ask for it. But she doesn't seem to be going that route, as you stated. She seems to be like, if you're against me, then I'm just going to destroy it, so that way I don't have to worry about you coming after me later. She's like on that Cersei bandwagon, kind of like how Cersei turned it. Well, I can't say that because this is not something that's going on in the show, but so I'm gonna leave that thought. But it's slowly starting to come full circle. She's learned the art of manipulation and the art of being just hardcore, from two of the most manipulative and well, I can't say Littlefinger is. I can't say he is kind of hardcore. Like he really doesn't. I don't even know if he feels emotion in a human sense, if that makes sense to anybody. I'm sure he feels emotions, but I don't know if his emotions are not. I can't find the word that I'm looking for, but they seem to be triggered by whatever it was that he lacked when he was growing up, and that's how he bases his emotions. His emotions are all in his head. They're not genuine. They don't come from the heart. If I can't think of the word that I want to use. Let me go on to Sam before I keep rambling on. What you got, Sam?
Okay, so I have a feeling what I'm gonna say is gonna upset some people. Okay, so I kind of respect Sansa just a little bit in this episode, and it made me look at her a little different. And then I was watching a video this morning, and Tony made a good point, and it really made me start to think. So Teflon's idea is that Sansa's figured out Littlefinger, and that her outburst was to kind of play with his head a little bit. Now, I agree, wrong time, but if that's the route she's going down, where she's playing Littlefinger, then I can see how it would work, because he's gonna think that there's discourse between Jon and Sansa. And really, behind the scenes, Jon and Sansa are good because their conversation one-on-one was good. They didn't fight. They were having a conversation, and it worked out well. But if that's the case, then Sansa is a whole lot smarter than I ever gave her credit for, and there's been a change in Sansa since last season. But yeah, I kind of respect Sansa just a little bit in the sense that she immediately shut up.
Hold on, is someone playing music in the background?
Yeah.
Somebody needs to mute. I can barely hear.
Oh, it was Monero, which means it was a little child. That's okay, because I like the little child. But yeah, so I kind of got a little respect for Sansa in the sense that if that's what she's doing to play Littlefinger, and she's helping Jon in the long run, and she's helping keep Winterfell, and she's helping Jon's cause, then I'm okay with it. And I also like this fact that Sansa immediately shut up the minute Jon gave the house to Alice Karstark. Sansa shut up. She had nothing to say because she was happy. So, go ahead. Tell me how bad I am for liking Sansa in that moment. But yeah.
I don't think there was anything wrong with what you just said. That's why initially I said that I think that she did that initially for the benefit of Littlefinger. I didn't, but that's a very good point that she did that in a sense to try to create this
illusion.
To create illusion that there is discord between John and herself. But to me it just seemed like the outburst that she did was for the benefit of Littlefinger, and the only reason why I said that was because when you look at last season as to what their interaction was, especially before John was named King in the North, they had that conversation in the Godswood, and then when John was named King in the North, she genuinely was smiling until she looked at Littlefinger, and Littlefinger gave her that look, and then her smile died. So it just seemed to me, because when you looked at the whole scene, Littlefinger was perched up in the same exact spot, the same exact spot, and so she just randomly makes this outburst, and so to me it just seemed like she would. That's why I said I don't know if she was doing that on purpose, but it would make sense that she's trying to create this illusion of there being some sort of discord. But also another part of me feels like she's trying to play some sort of a long game. What that is, I don't know. And she's just trying to she's using Littlefinger for her own, for her own purpose.
Yeah.
But I know she's gonna eventually get rid of him at some point once his usefulness has run its course.
Oh, I think she's already at that point from her later conversation with Brienne. She already seems like she's just like, nah, I don't want to deal with him anymore.
What you got, T?
I think, of course, completely different, I think, from you guys. Or I think it's pretty cool that I'm looking at it in a different perspective, because what I saw, you had Glover who got to stand up and speak his mind. And then you had Royce who got to stand up and speak his mind. Yana who got to stand up and speak her mind. And then when Sansa stands up to speak her mind, then it gets just shut down like, nah, you don't talk to me. I will agree with you guys that that was the wrong time to speak up about that. However, seemed like it was an open forum for everyone to speak up, and if they disagreed with John, that they could. Glover disagreed with John, said, I don't want to put swords in my granddaughter's hand. It wasn't, and John didn't say anything. It was Mormont who said something. And it seems like John doesn't really have that many people that are really actually on his side. It's more people on her side, because it seems like whenever she says something, then everyone seems to go with it. So John doesn't really have that much clout. Another thing that I noticed when they were going back and forth was that you saw a lot of people shaking their head in agreement with Sansa that you can't just not punish for what a house did wrong to you and then not reward the people that were fighting for you. I think they need to start learning how to have a medium and communicate with each other. But you could do whatever you want, but I just don't see how we can always keep blaming everything on Sansa when, if you really sit back and look at it, they took Winterfell, her claim from Winterfell, and gave it to John. If it was Rickon, they would not have taken Winterfell and say, oh, John would be king in the North. Started that and says, I know only one king and his name is Stark. She was dismissive of Sansa the second she said, oh, you're a Bolton. No, you're a Lannister. And it's easy for you to say, oh, you've been passed around, but she's never been forced in a situation where she had to marry someone. So it's easy to just dismiss her. It was Mormont who was basically leading John and saying, like, this is the one we should lead. And everyone's going off of her. But the main thing that I got out of that was that, especially in that room, was that the North is still divided, because you got some people who do feel a way that why is this person still getting their house and we fought for you. Because and I really think also, like, John, you can't just let them keep their house without at least having conversation with them, because you don't know, they could still feel the same way about you. I mean, they beheaded Cersei and Joffrey, that Lannister's beheaded Ned. They still feel that and want revenge. So Rob killed the car starts, and I don't know if it'll go that far to say that, you know, Alice will be the one that wants revenge, but I'm just saying you don't know if that family also feels the same way that their fathers felt. You don't know, and that's a conversation he should have had. But I also think that's kind of fucked up that you don't even talk to Sansa. He'll talk to, if you look at even in the past season, when he's talking to Torment, it's side by side. When he's talking to Davos, it's side by side. When he's talking to Sansa, he starts to walk ahead of her. Like, he dismisses her the second she starts to talk. And even when they went outside, and I agree, she started to give him bullshit and say, look, you got to be better than father, you got to be better than Rob, because they made foolish decisions. And he's starting to do the same thing as Ned, because you don't want to play the game, but you're forced to play the game because they made you king. And if you can go back to the conversation with Sansa and Littlefinger in season 4, she was like, what if I don't want to play the game? And they were saying, well, you know what? You're forced to play the game. You don't have a choice. And John's in the same situation where you're forced to play the game. You're so worried about, and I think it's also her tone and how she says things, because John is really sensitive, because she was telling him truth. She says, you know what? You're so focused about the Night King. You don't understand that also you have to worry about the South End. And Cersei will come at you. She already sent birds to the north. They already tried to kill Bran. Like, you can be touched. So I think he needs to put that in perspective. But he also said in there that, oh, what? I'm supposed to be smart and what? Trust you? And she's like, is that such a big deal? So already you can tell that he never really forgave her from all the stuff from the past. And I think that's going to be his downfall, is that he's going to probably be put in a position that if he was to trust Sansa, they would work better together. But if the longest they are divided, then they can be taken down, and Littlefinger's going to prosper off of that. But I just think that it's kind of crazy that, you know, it's always Sansa, she should shut up, but it's like, but you let Mormont do it. And then if you, like, I'm going right back to what I said before, but when you really think about it, you took someone else's claim, and then she's cool with it, okay, and then you're dismissing what she has to say. She doesn't, so when, I think also in that conversation, she was like, you know what, you're the military tactic, but I know when it comes to Cersei, when it comes to playing these little petty games, John don't want to play these petty games, but Sansa, they trained her for this. So it's like, if anything, John should be smart and be like, you know what, you need to take care of the southern end, and I'll handle the military. But if you want to keep dismissing her and she has nothing to say, what's stopping her from just saying, you know what, I'm out? If you basically took her claim to Winterfell and she doesn't even get to say anything about what happens to her home, what's the point of her being there?
Sorry. I agree with, and this is just my thoughts. I don't think John had a problem with her talking. I just think it's the manner in which, first of all, it was the manner in which she spoke, first of all, and second, it's the way that I think it's the way that she came off in when she was voicing, because I don't think he has a problem, and I don't think anybody else has a problem with her speaking. I think it's just the way that she spoke seemed to undermine what it was that he was doing. I don't think her opinions don't matter. One, second, her tone was just seemed as if to say that even if he doesn't know, or he comes off as if he doesn't know what he's doing, I think he had a reason behind what he was doing, right or wrong, because no leader always makes the right decision. That's why you have a council, right?
But he's not consoling with her. That's my thing, is that it's kind of messed up. If you look back, once they finished that conversation in the hall, they went outside, and when she grabs him, he looks as like get off of me, and he's like, what? He has a smug attitude towards her, and I think he's sensitive when it comes to her tone, but at the same time, she was giving him good advice.
Well, if anybody would have grabbed me like that, I probably would have been pissed too. But I'm not saying that she's not giving him good advice. I'm saying that her tone, the way that she's talking to him, is probably not very receptive. There's a way that you can talk to someone in order for you to be able to communicate. And I don't think that they communicate well with each other, even though what is being said is to the other person's benefit. There's a way for you to be able to communicate with someone in order to get your point across. And when you come off what might seem like condescending, a person won't be receptive to what it is that you have to say, even if it's good. It's really good for you to hear it. And she did have a lot of good points to make. I just don't think her delivery was a very, for lack of a better term, her delivery sucked. You know what I mean? But I do agree with you that a lot of what she had to say was good information, because she was right. You know, both her father and Rob made a lot of dumb decisions because they weren't politically astute enough to listen to those that were. Rob didn't listen to his mom. Had Rob listened to a lot of what his mother said, he probably would have saved himself a lot of heartache. You know, Ned, unfortunately for him, he didn't know who to really listen to, you know, and the people that he was listening to were the wrong people. You know what I mean? Because he really had no political savvy. You know, he didn't know how to play politics. He had no savvy in that area. So it cost him his life. John is the same way. John, whatever political savvy he had, came from Sam. Sam was the one that knew how to navigate that, and he no longer has Sam. But him and Sam had already had an established relationship where Sam knew how to talk to John in order to get him to be receptive. I think that Sansa and John don't really know how to communicate with each other in order for them to kind of receive the information that's being said. So they're gonna be at odds. That's just my own opinion. But I agree with you saying. I agree with what you said. I just want to add that we just suck, which is why. And you can't. Again, I think her timing was off, or her delivery was wrong. There could have been a way for her to say it in such a way where she didn't make it seem like she was trying to undermine what he was trying to say, whether he was right or wrong. That conversation, just like Lady D said, you mean to tell me that 2 weeks has gone by and y'all haven't had that conversation, or that never came up in conversation for it to be discussed?
But it goes both ways. What I'm saying is, like, it seems like he doesn't want to hear what she has to say. It seems like whenever he's saying, when he said to her, like, oh, should I listen to you? He was like, I'm not listening to you. I haven't been listening to you. So we don't know if she's been trying to talk to him and he hasn't been talking to her, or she's been trying to talk to him, or vice versa. It just seems like the communication, if they actually had good communication, Sansa would be the one working the southern end, and John would be focused on getting people ready for the north. But they don't talk because I still feel like he's in his feelings. Like, after a while, you just have to get over the fact of certain people have certain tones. I just feel like, and I hate to say this, but I feel like if it was more my telling him this and being blunt about it, he listens to her and her delivery. Beauty Queen, can you mute yourself?
I'm sorry.
No, you good. So my thing is, if it was more and she's a blunt person, she doesn't sugarcoat shit, and she tells you like it is, whether you like it or not, and her delivery could be softer or something, and it's acceptable. However, when Sansa, it's kind of like, I get it, it's the tone, but after a while, John has to get out of his feelings and just take advice from her, or at least listen to it. Whether you take advice from her or not, listen to her at least. If you just dismiss whatever she has to say, then you also are part of the problem. And Ned also says, like, you need to know, what did Ned say something about, like, you need to know all your men and sit at the table to know all these people. You can't just ignore your sister, who's also been through this. She knows about a lot of these people that are ready to attack y'all. She's been in King's Landing the entire time. So she knows all these people who will do conniving things, who won't go by the law, who won't keep their word. She's been around all these sneaky people that she's trying to warn them, like, look, if you don't want to do the dirty job, at least you should listen to her, because it seems like she knows how to play it, or she's trying to at least.
And John knows about the White Walkers.
Yeah, and I'm
Come on.
exactly. Exactly.
John knows
so
more about the White Walkers who will kill them all. He's just undermining. I'm sorry, it's not my turn. I'm sorry.
No, you can go ahead, but I'm just saying, it's like you got John. John is being kind of dumb, because it's the same shit that happened to him at the battle of what's it, Castle Black, because he was so worried about an attack coming from the north, he didn't think even that they would attack from the south. It's the same thing. It's like, you could say all you want, the Sansa should have did this, or she shut up, or should do this, or whatever, but at the same time, look at the moves John's making. He's making the same shit moves that either Ned would have made or Rob would have made, and those shit will get you killed. He already got killed for being a noble, honorable man. You can't, unfortunately, when you play that game, you cannot play that game honorable. It's just such a dirty game that no one's going to play fair. You can't play a game honorable if everyone's playing unfair. And I think John is fucking up again if he doesn't listen.
Hey, T.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that maybe... Am I echoing?
Mm-mm.
Do you think that maybe it comes down to the two of them having a bad relationship from their views of what happened before all of this happened? Because Sansa always looked at John as not her brother, and John always had the cold shoulder from Sansa, and even more so from Catelyn, and he sees her being, you know, more like the Tullys and more like Cat in that way, and maybe they both need to step back away from what their preconceived ideas of each other and realize that they both have been through a bunch of shit and they need to learn, and maybe it'll take somebody else to realize that they need to listen to each other.
Yeah, it could be possibly the message saying that Bran's alive and that he's at the wall, that it'll bring him back. Because John said last season, like, we have so many enemies, we need to learn to trust each other. But he doesn't trust her. So it's kind of like you're being hypocritical. But I think, like, either it'll be news about Bran or possibly Arya being there that'll be like, okay, we need to go back to focus. Like, we need to be happy that we're together and that the real issue is here. So it could go that way.
I think Arya might bridge that gap, seriously, because Arya loves John and she hated Sansa for a long time, but now she wants to save Sansa because Sansa's the only family she has left. So I really think it'll be Arya more than likely. Go, Timo.
Can I just like interject a little bit? Okay. Sansa, I mean, I can't believe we spent all this time on her, but Sansa is the most hypocritical person in this story. Okay. She wants Jon to counsel her, but then she talks down on him because she will always look at him as a bastard. She always has. She looks down on him. It's plain to see. Like, that's how, you know, she wants him to trust her, but she blatantly lied about the Veil Army. She wants to be included in counseling and everything, but then, like, I notice only Sansa gets, like, excuses for her behavior. Everyone can stand up and talk and say something, but Sansa always sits back and waits for somebody to talk to her, like, why are you not talking to me? Why are you not talking to me? Kind of bullshit, you know? And then now when she does speak up, being everything she's been through and being brought up as a lady, she should know better than to speak up against your king in front of your bannermen like that. Like, she should know better than that. That's not right. Then, like, okay, let's say she did that on purpose. Interesting theory, but she literally compared Jon to Joffrey and then hit him with that petty shit. Like, oh, I'm just kidding. I didn't mean that. Get the fuck out of here. And, you know, T, you always say she's like Cersei or whatever. She's a wannabe Cersei because most of the time, like, she tries to be smart or tries to play the game, but it always comes off. I don't know if it's the actor or the directing or what. It always comes off as some nagging, whining bitch. Like, it just comes through the screen like that. I don't know why it is, but I just don't. As far as the families and stuff, no, I totally agree. When he said, like, you, when Tywin said you have to lift people back up, or they'll never bend the knee to you, or something like that. That's true. I'm sorry if Jon is trying to save the world from being killed by White Walkers that apparently Sansa doesn't even fully believe in, because if not, she would understand where he's coming from. But no, we have to take Sansa's side on that one, I guess. Fuck the White Walkers. But we need those two families. We need men, just like she said we need the Vale. We need those families as well, you know, for the... Then if he put those families out to pasture or whatever, he would have enemies for life. Their families, their children's children have enemies for life. Now he's going to have loyal people for life. You know what I mean? That's a touchy situation, but I just don't like the whole like Sansa thing. I feel like her whole storyline is a plot device, and then people, Sansa fans, bless their heart, but they will always have this, she's going to do this, she could do this, Dark Sansa is coming. You know, I actually feel bad for Sansa fans because every season it's the same fucking thing. You know, like, I really feel bad for you guys. Sansa, if she does become different, she, instead of being like a spoiled whiny bitch, she's just gonna become like some bitch who always wants revenge. Think about it. She's always wanted revenge. When she went to Jon for help, even though she threw it in his face, I think it was this episode, she said, oh, no one can protect me. Bitch, then why'd you go to Jon for help to get Winterfell? Just saying. Like, she's still on revenge. She didn't give a fuck about Rickon. She didn't care if Jon died there. She had the Vale army, all that stuff. She just wanted revenge. And even now, she still wants revenge against these two kids. Like, at least Sansa fans, I need you guys to, like, say, oh, she's a vengeful bitch. Don't act like she's some innocent person that should get all these excuses in the world. Like, it can't be both ways. Take her for what she is. She's a bitch. I like Cersei. I know she's a bitch. I'm not going to say like, oh, but, you know, she's learning and she's been through a lot. She's lost her kids. I'm not going to do that. I know she's a bitch. But Sansa fans can't seem to separate her being a bitch and her being innocent. Like, that's all I have to say for now. Fuck Sansa.
I just really want to say that I never said that Sansa was innocent or none of that. All I'm saying is I call everyone's BS and saying that you can't just say one thing about all one person and not. And all I'm saying is that I get what you're saying, but you can see later on in this episode, Cersei is still out for revenge, and that's all she sees. Her and Sansa do the exact same thing. And if you watch the sequence on that whole conversation with Jon and Sansa, and then it goes to Cersei and Jaime, you see that's all she is. That's all she's consumed about. She even says she doesn't even care about the fact that her son got that her son killed. She betrayed him. They are literally the same person. So I don't understand why it's okay. There's a love for Sansa, but then it's like, I mean, not love Sansa. It's this hateful thing when they actually the same thing. If anything, the reason why Sansa is the way she is she learned from Kat. And she learned from Cersei. Like, there are lessons. If you watch the Battle of Blackwater, you'll see the lessons that Cersei told her, where she was like, you don't need to love no one but your children. The weaker you become. These are all things that Cersei taught her to do, which are the same things that people love Cersei about, the fact that she's going to do whatever it takes to kill her enemies.
Which I get, but then why do people only give, not you, but I've noticed in the fandom, Sansa gets the most excuses out of every character, like the most ever. And I'm like, she hasn't been through the most. She's been through a lot, but fuck, like, she hasn't been through the most. But only Sansa gets excuses for being. I know people who are Sansa fans but don't like Arya. I'm like, well, You know, I mean,
I
I'm
don't
trying to
see
say
why.
they're both huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like
No, I'm saying I agree.
everybody's out for revenge and everybody's doing stuff, but for some reason, only Sansa gets the poor little Sansa excuse. Only she gets that kind of like, oh, she can do that because nobody else in the story can.
Well, I mean, at least she
So
killed Ramsay.
She didn't kill Ramsay. The dogs killed Ramsay. She just watched dogs eat. I can videotape my dogs eating right now if you want to.
At least she got a good seat.
Behind bars.
I'm gonna rein this conversation back in so we can stay on topic.
No, me and T will go back and forth.
But
I know, I love you, Sansa.
I know that Sansa is a very sensitive subject for a lot of people. I think everybody made valid points. My perspective was not to, and I think most people's perspectives, I think on the whole is, it's not that nobody thinks that she shouldn't have spoke. It's just in the manner and in her timing and her delivery was just probably not appropriate. But like I said, I think she probably, my belief in why she made that outburst was for the purpose of Littlefinger.
It possibly
could there have been an ulterior motive for it? Yeah.
But why compare him to Joffrey? Like, that was totally wrong. Like, even for Sansa.
The only reason why I think she said that is because he was like, I'm the king now, and I know you're my sister. It's like, all right, but I get, like, once again, I will totally agree with you. I think what bugs Sansa up is her tone, because the way she says things, you know how like someone, you could talk to someone and the way that they say something, be like, bitch, who you talking to? She has that type of tone.
So you
John
could agree with me that when he did that, and then not only did she do that, she tried to grab him on top of, like, look, you gonna listen to me. Like,
I will say that's a disrespect. That was a disrespect on, I think, John's end first, because when you're talking, like I say, when he's talking to other people, he walks side by side. He was walking ahead of her, so she grabbed remember the era that they live in. They live in a very patriarchal society. Women are not considered to be first class with Mormont. But more because of her position. Sansa doesn't have the same position as Lyanna Mormont. It's her house, but that's being so. Why would she? I think that's disrespectful, because once again, that's why there's a disconnect, because you're saying that she doesn't really necessarily matter to hear what she has to say.
And that's not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to put in perspective the time period that they are living in, and how things are viewed in that. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that in that era, in the era and the period that they are living in a patriarchal society. And
does it make it okay that I wish
your position
John backhanded her when
just let me finish. Just let me finish. That the era that they're living in is a patriarchal society, and there are things are determined by your position, how you address and how you speak, and how communication flows are done through by your position. I'm not saying that she is any lesser than John. That's not what I'm saying. But by virtue of position, he was the one that was named king, not her. You know what I mean? So by virtue of the fact that he is king, she is his subject. Even though she is related to him, she is still his subject. That has been even through modern times. When you look back in story is based off of, which is based off of English monarchy. That's how it was. It didn't matter if you were family or not. If I am king, it doesn't matter who my family member is. You're still my subject. It doesn't matter if you're my wife. It doesn't matter if you're my child. It doesn't matter if you're my blood relative. Whatever I say is law, because I am the king. That's just the way that it worked. I'm not saying that she didn't have a voice or that she shouldn't have been able to speak. And I don't think John, at least in the way that the way that I viewed it, I didn't see it that way. But it's funny. We all saw that. We all watched the same thing, but we all interpreted it differently. So, and I'm not gonna. And I think everybody's interpretation is valid because that's how you saw it. I think we just have different. We just interpreted it differently. We just saw it differently, based on our own opinions and stuff like that. Which doesn't mean that they're not valid.
I can agree with her tone, but I don't disagree with the fact that I would have done the same thing because he was being disrespectful. I mean, you don't walk away from someone when y'all talking to each other. Whether you're a king or not, you still should show respect to people.
Okay, cool. So let's move on to King's Landing with Cersei and Jaime. So when we get to King's Landing, Cersei is of Westeros painted on the floor, which is kind of like, to me, it almost seemed like the same thing, except instead of a table like Aegon built in Dragonstone, she has a map being drawn. I don't know what that room is called in King's Landing. And then there is she has a conversation with Jaime about, you know, what their current standing is as of right now, because as it looks, they are surrounded by enemies in a full circle. And she is talking to him about how should they proceed in order for them to be able to take back the Seven Kingdoms. And I think, and then Jaime tries to give her, you know, a reality check about what their current position is. But she is insistent that she can still take it by force. And then she alludes to Euron. And then Euron comes into the picture, and offers his armada in exchange for her hand in marriage. And then he walks off saying that after she refuses his proposal, he walks off that, you know, that he's going to bring her a gift. He doesn't say what that gift is, but we can all speculate that gift might be that he plans on bringing back to her. So, starting with you, AK, what are your thoughts? What was it about that whole entire scene that stood out most to you?
Cersei's pretty much in denial of the whole situation, and I need her to just get that correct. I am sure she thinks she has an ally in Euron, and she thinks she's playing him smart and whatnot. I think she's going to see that's not going to work out that great for her. She'll get a couple of things that she wants, but like always, like Tywin said, you are not as smart as you think you are, and as all of her plans eventually do, that plan is going to backfire on her ass too. And I'm pretty sure she's probably going to pull in old man Tarly, and that shit's gonna come back to bite her in the ass as well. She's not gonna have too many more things to lean on, and I'm just wondering how far it'll get until she realizes that. Jaime was a bit more of a realist about the situation, so I appreciate him actually bringing up the points that he did, because they are definitely all valid, and she needs to pay attention. It's pretty much it, but you know, that's it. Short and simple.
Lady D, what do you have?
I think that the thing that stuck up most to me is that Cersei has gone mad. Like, Cersei is clearly she's the mad queen. She's insane. There's a few things that sort of alert us to us, but because I hate Sansa, like there's something about this that really reminds me of Sansa's conversation with Jon, and it's the way that they feel about their family members. It's almost a resentment for the things they did, right? A betrayal. Cersei feels betrayed by Tommen. She feels like everyone else in the Lannister family, all right, they're dead, but let's move on. And Sansa kind of feels that way too. Like, look, you need to be smarter than Dad. You need to be smarter than Rob. Like, everybody's dead, but us, like, to be. So I thought that was an interesting parallel, having that scene right after the scene with Jon and Sansa. I do think that Cersei's delusional. I want to know what she's launching a dynasty for, if she's not going to have any more kids, unless she plans on having kids with Euron. I do think it's really interesting that she didn't inform Jamie that she was going to invite Euron to sit down and talk. And I think it's really interesting that she didn't tell Jamie that she plans on getting married, because she flat out says that Euron is coming, for a queen. So if you know Euron is coming for a queen, like, why wouldn't you tell your brother who you're also, screwing? So I thought that was interesting. Jamie, I feel like he's getting to the point where he's going to be distant. Like, show Jamie anyway. He's getting to the point where he's going to be distant, but he's not there yet. Because after she said what she said about Tom, and he was just sort of looking like, okay, but he didn't really do anything about it. He didn't say anything else about it, which I thought was really weird. He just went back to the battlefields, but whatever. And then the other thing that we learned, and I thought this was interesting because it has been about 2 weeks since the last episode. So it's been about 2 weeks since Jamie left the Riverlands, and already the information about what happened at the Twins with Arya slaughtering them. Well, they don't know it's Arya. Slaughtering them has already reached King's Landing. So I think it's like big news, and it's spreading all over the realm. That's it. Until we get to Euron, who is gross. But the ships look so awesome. The Iron Fleet was so badass. I was just looking at it like, oh my gosh, why are these ships in all black sails? Like, look at these. Like, this craps on Asha's ships. Like, they were really nice. But
I agree with you on that. That was the first thing I said at that scene. Like, damn, them ships look kind of badass, though. Like, I didn't want to like it. Yeah. But they improved Euron. I think they heard all of our complaints, and they put a little more extra oomph into Euron this season.
Yeah, they did.
But we ain't there yet.
He's wearing jeans and, like, chilling out. So, but yeah, the map room, I think it was a pretty, like, it wasn't a filler scene, but it may as well have been. They could have just shown us Jamie's aversion to Cersei in some other way, but out of it. Oh, and the parallel that it drew between her conversation and Jon and Sansa.
No lie, Brittany. In my notes, I have parallel Jamie, Cersei, Sansa, Jon. I'm saying that Jamie and Sansa are kind of like supposedly the voice of reason, and then Cersei and Jon are the ones that they're advising as to what the real situation is. I literally have that like in my notes. You can't see me showing it to you, but yeah, totally agree with you. What you got for us, Sam?
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, Sam. My parallel, I feel like Cersei is aligned with Sansa. I just want to make that clear. I think that Cersei is aligned with Sansa. I think the
Got it. I got it.
Okay, goodbye. Later.
Okay, so I don't have very much to say about the whole scene, except for run, Jamie, run as fast as you can. Cersei's gone mad, but whatever. But I do have a question that AK asked last night on the Hypes Watch video that she had to leave alone, which I think everyone is probably going to agree with once they hear the question. How in the hell did Euron get to King's Landing without passing Dany's fleet, or the Dornish, or Lady Olenna's fleet, or anyone else? Because he has to pass Dorne and the Reach and Dragonstone to get to King's Landing. So what the hell? Go ahead and talk.
3 whole damn fleets. And then Euron comes in and nobody saw each other.
Oh, wait. And he also had to pass the other Ironborn fleet that Yara and Theon stole from him.
And no one saw each other. First of all, where the fuck you get all the wool to build them cool-ass looking ships? I'm not going to think too hard on that one, but still, Dragonstone and King's Landing are not far away from each other. Where are all these ships hiding that they didn't run into each other?
But are we sure that I don't know, maybe I just don't look at shows that, I don't know. And stuff like that doesn't bother me. But are we sure that every storyline is along the same timeline? Is that just something we all just assume?
No, well, the way that the show looks like, it looks like Lady D said, it's taking place 2 weeks after the last episode. So they have to be all around the same storyline.
See, I didn't get that because I think the North happened right after. Arya happened 2 weeks after. Cersei's thing must have happened way more than 2 weeks because she has the map that's almost painted. I mean, that's just how I look at it, and I imagine it takes more than 2 weeks to ship from Essos to Dragonstone.
She told Jaime about Dany being at Dragonstone and Tyrion being with her. She had a little bird tell her that, so she said it to Jaime, so it must be on the same timeline.
Or it happened after.
Or it happened after Dany was at Dragonstone, which he would have had to pass a bunch of ships somewhere, whether it was in the Reach or Dorne or Dragonstone, somewhere he would have had to pass these boats. You can't dock them all at Dragonstone. Some of them have to be somewhere else.
I don't know. Like I said, stuff like that doesn't. We all got everything.
The geography, Timo, the geography, the way that the geography works, there wouldn't have been. There wouldn't have been no way, even if there were like maybe even if there was a week difference, you couldn't pass. Those ships wouldn't sail that fast that they wouldn't have crossed each other within that time period. The way that the geography works. So if you're looking at a map and you're looking at the geography, they would have had to have crossed paths within that 2 week timeline.
Unless he did see them, but he kept his distance, because when he did go to King's Landing, he said he's going to come back with a gift. So maybe he might either, because Tyrion's been referenced as a gift, he could attack them, because also, well, I'm not going to say the previews, but it's a possibility that he did see them and he's going back.
I agree. He's going to
he passed them and kept his distance, like far away.
Yeah, but I do want to say that I did enjoy that whole scene with Euron trolling Jaime and talking about, I got two good hands and, killing brothers is fun and shit. I love that. I thought it was like little digs, but they were funny. I like the fact that you could see in Cersei's eye every time he's talked about revenge, she had like this little boner or a little smile on her face. And I love the fact that Jaime caught that she was kind of getting turned on by it. And so she was. She was like, revenge, yeah.
Jaime kept giving those eye rolls like, yeah, oh my God.
Bitch, like, put your boner down, bitch. Like, he was not feeling it. But when he talked about him,
go ahead.
All I'm just gonna say is Euron's trolling goals.
Euron's trolling completely trumped Renly's trolling. I love Renly's trolling of Stannis. That shit was hilarious. Euron has beat the peach.
Girl, you know how much I love Jaime. He's in my top 3. I was upset at myself for laughing at the two hands thing. I was like, no, don't laugh. That's not funny. I was dying.
Trolling gold, like T said. I love it.
It was the look on Jaime's face when he said it. That even worse.
Right.
Did anyone else think like T just said with Cersei's lady boner, that kind of mirrored Dany last season when Yara was spitting that game?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely, because I was like, them Ironborns, you can say what you want, say they dirty and stuff, but they know how to spit some good game. Because Jaime was saying like, y'all ain't nothing. I killed all of y'all, so what up? Like, and he's like, yeah, I'm good. Because if you ain't do that, I wouldn't have been exiled. Like, he had a comeback. Like, I love the fact that Jaime thought he was doing something by showing to Cersei, like, if you date this dude, he's weak. And he come back and like, who's weak, bitch? Like, at least I got 2 hands. And I think the fact that she joked and said, like, killing brothers is fun, you should try it. I think that's what got her. I think she giggled at one point. Jaime was like, bitch.
I have to say, Jaime's eye rolls are goals. I want my eye rolls to be those eye rolls for the rest of my life. Maybe people will get my point.
That even funnier is because like Jamie's reaction to like
the Lannister resting bitch face. Like the twins have it down.
Your boy
I love them.
And I will totally say,
wait. Tyrion's got resting bitch face too. Let's not forget about Tyrion resting bitch face.
okay, but we ain't on Tyrion right now. We're on the two that are in the throne room.
The two Lannisters who count.
Yes,
I
but
didn't say all that.
Tyrion does
It's
count.
Lannisters. I'm sorry, but Jamie is like the Cersei of the Lannisters. I'm sorry, he is.
You mean
More Cersei than
Sansa? You mean he's more Sansa of the Lannisters, not Cersei?
Oh no, he's not.
No, they're the same damn person.
Cersei.
Oh, because they're the same damn person. My bad. He's the Sansa of the Lannisters.
Can I make a comment about Cersei? Like, I'm gonna try to Sansa-splain Cersei.
Oh, Ross.
I don't know why everybody hates Cersei. Honestly, first of all, she went through her whole like middle-aged life with this prophecy that she's gonna die and her kids are gonna die. She thought she was gonna marry the prince, the dream, a la Sansa. Hello, and then it turns out that he died and she had to marry some drunken whore that was out making the 8, and she lost her entire family, like mom, dad, in her mind, brother, all her kids, uncles. We've had more Lannister deaths than Stark deaths, by the way. But she lost her entire family.
Tommy don't even count.
Exactly. And then she feels that her son betrayed her. Like, how deep must that feel, honestly? Oh my God. I can't even. My heart breaks for her. And she has a serious mental illness that she can't get help for. She's coping by using alcohol. Like, mental illness is a serious disease. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why we can't just give her some kind of like excuse for her actions. She doesn't know how else to act. She never had a mother figure in her life. She never had that like come here, like, you know, lay on my bosom kind of thing. She had only her father, who was like not a very good dad. So
you
she
can't even think of any more words to really explain that shit.
Exactly. The mental illness got you, didn't it? Yep. Thank you.
No, we got you. You are out of words right now.
You're reaching so deep for one. And she's and talking about Cersei, but it sounds like Sansa. Okay, same person.
No, Sansa, she doesn't drink. Cersei is trying to help her mental illness, unlike others. And instead of whining and fishing, she lashes out because that's all she knows how to do.
Timo, Cersei committed murder when she was like 12. She pushed her little girl down a well. Cersei had a servant girl beaten when she was 9 till her eye popped out. Cersei,
I know,
is a bad person. Like, there's no way around that shit. She's a bad person that has.
She's only bad because of her environment. She grew up with a dad who killed families. So she, in her mind, in her little adolescent brain, she thinks that's how you're supposed to react.
And who did Tyrion grow up with? What did Tyrion grow up with? What love did Tyrion have? What mother did Tyrion have?
Books. He had a hobby. Cersei didn't have a hobby.
No,
he had a hobby? Is that the excuse?
She did have a hobby. Her hobby was doing her brother.
Right. Like, stop fucking.
Exactly. The only love that she's ever known in that family household.
Timo is reaching for Euron level of trolling, and she's failing.
The sad part, she's serious.
That's right.
I know.
Timo, all I have to say is, how in the hell did little poor innocent I love my cat and Marjorie because she gave me sex Tommen? How? I don't understand. How did he betray her? It makes
her mental
illness.
Her mental illness makes her a little paranoid, okay? Like, that is a real thing. And we can't shame her for having a serious mental illness. She probably should have drank more wine instead of lashing out like she always does, you know?
Can we shame her for fucking her brother?
Yes, shame her. Shame.
No, because that was the only love. That was the only love that she's ever known in her household. So of course it's going to cross over from familial to sexual because she
The
thinks
only love she's ever known, she manipulated his whole life. That ain't love. That's control.
She tried to kill Tommy before. Now you mad because, girl.
no, she's trying to control because
I keep saying Sansa and Cersei.
her way. She's trying to control things because her life is out of control. Again, back to the mental illness thing. It's almost like when you get mad and you want to clean the house, you want to try to control things. If she is out of control, she's going to just demolish everything else, everyone else, like it's just how she grew up. It's really sad.
Okay.
Tywin didn't kill everything for no damn reason.
But in her mind, her little adolescent mind,
everything said after "but" is bullshit.
Hold on, guys. Guys, 1 second. Bye, Moni.
Bye, Moni. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, so for the staying too long, let's move on to the next.
Can I real quick just say one more thing? I'm sorry because I'm blanking out. Also, I just want to say that Cersei is just as dumb as her father because they're in the same situation where they have to go and write letters to people that they don't like and they consider less than them. Okay.
At least they do something, unlike the Starks who sit back and be like, "Oh, they're picking on me."
No, you two are not gonna go at this again. No,
I need to move this along. I need to move this along. Let me move this along. Y'all too. Let me tell y'all. I'm gonna need you to stop whispering though. That's what I need you to do. All right. So to the Citadel. So when we get to the Citadel, we get a montage of all kinds of brown, bowl of brown with Sam. Sam is not living the great life as an acolyte. Anyways, we get this montage of that. And then we get this montage of Sam's daily routine life. We also get a conversation with him and Maester Ambrose, I think his name is. When they're doing an autopsy, and they have an interesting conversation, the White Walkers, and Maester Ambrose brings up the point that, that with every major event that has happened in the Seven Kingdoms, people have always survived. When Robert Rebellion was happening, everybody was wondering how they were going to get through this. They did. They survived it. When the First Long Night happened, people thought that, people asked how were they going to get through this? Like, how were they going to survive it? They did. So he would say that he believes that Sam did see the White Walkers. But he interestingly makes the same comment that Sansa makes, is that the wall has stood for 1,000 years. There's a wall between them and the White Walkers, so they're good. So, but of course, Sam, having been there and experienced it firsthand, understands what it is that they're truly facing, as well as all of those that have been, either whether they were in Hardhome or anybody that had been north of the wall that had had an encounter with the White Walkers, understand what it is that they're coming up against, and are extremely interested in, trying to defend against that. But I believe that the Maester also made a very interesting point. Usually whenever there's some sort of a major catastrophe or crisis that happens, humans usually always find a way to survive. So I think that there's an underlying current that even if the situation is as grave as Sam is making it out to be, I think this conversation has been had, how the Maesters are trying to downplay a lot of the things that are going on in order to kind of keep control. Because remember, he also says that they're the memory keepers. Well, if you're the memory keepers, that means you're trying to control how history is written or how it is remembered. And so when you have maesters that are placed in every household, You know what I mean? They kind of somewhat control what is being said and what is not being said. So I thought that was a very interesting exchange that was had. And it was also interesting to see Sam's daily life, no matter how grotesque it was to watch what he was doing on a daily basis. But all I kept thinking about the man, between him having to empty out chamber pots, and they kept going back and forth between him emptying out those chamber pots and getting that stew put in a plate. It was just like, I started to be like, which one is which? It was so disgusting. But anyway, let me not keep going. AK, what you got?
Well, on this episode of Sam Tarley and the Order of the Phoenix, Sam tried to get into the restricted section, and seems like he did steal some books. And say the same thing I said last night on my live stream. Stop asking about the titties and all of the other body parts, because now they're literally just giving us shit. They're punishing us. And I don't ever want to see a montage to move time along like that again. So let's not ever have to speak on that ever again. But the main thing I remember from all them books that Sam took is not the damn dragon glass that's at Dragonstone. We know about that. But the cat's paw was in that book that was kept in the restricted section. And I'm wondering how old that damn dagger is. And I know we're never going to know it because it really doesn't do anything for the narrative. But I want to know the history of that dagger and where it's been and why. Outside of that, I don't think I didn't hear the maester's name said, Monero. So I don't know if the guy that was from Hogwarts is actually playing that person. I thought he was just referred to as Archmaester. And that was it. But maybe I just didn't hear it. Outside of that whole scene, it seems like the baby finally grew a little bit. It sounded like he was trying to talk, so maybe he can walk now. I don't know. He was just sitting on the bed. He looked like he might have been taller. I could be mistaken in the measurements, but that's about it. I did think it was interesting how the Archmaester went into that little spiel that he did, but it's the Maesters fucking around again. They try to control all of the information, which they have been for centuries, and it just shows me that they're scheming some more, and they've been scheming and will continue to until they actually see the White Walkers for themselves, and then they're all gonna shit bricks. And that's if Euron don't get to him first.
Good point. Lady D, what you got for us?
I think that in first seeing it, my first thought was, oh man, Sam's life was worse than it was in the Night's Watch. And it just laughed like, oh, that sucks. I don't really understand what the hell the Maester's problem is, his complacency, because he's basically like, I believe you, but I will not help you. The most that I got from Sam at the Citadel isn't really in that section. It's the other section when he's with Gilly. So I froze did you guys freeze the playback so that you could see the pages? I was freezing it so I could see the pages. And one of the interesting things that we find out what that fused stone is, at the bottom of the high tower and the Citadel and all that, is dragon glass. So I guess I'll I'll share the picture with you guys if there or something. But it's dragon glass. When you read it, let me see if I can read it back. I don't know if anybody else wants to go, but it's dragon glass. So we find out that, and then the whole, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the whole possible cure for grayscale being ingesting dragon glass. And that's on the opposite page too. So most of the information I got was from that part.
That's a good catch. I didn't even catch that part. But him talking about Stannis had already given him the information that dragon glass was what would kill White Walkers. So why would he need a book about it? I guess I wasn't too clear about that, or maybe there might have been something that I missed with respect to that. There was something more that needed to be, or maybe they needed to find the location, and that's why he needed the book. Like he needed to find the location of where they could get dragon glass, and that was the purpose of him trying to get the book, because maybe they may have known that dragon glass was what they needed, but maybe they didn't know where to find it, and so maybe that was and the fact that it also showed that dragon glass was a cure for grayscale. I didn't even catch that, so that's a good catch on your part, Lady D.
I think
What you got? I'm sorry.
Probably try to figure out how to make it into weapons. Because on that page with the cat claw dagger, it talks about how the Targaryens had a kinship for it, and how they called it Frozen Flame, which is what the Children of the Forest were calling it too, I believe. That, and how they used to use it to decorate their weapons, and like how it was really too brutal to make any weapons of like consequence. So it was probably something along the lines of, all right, well, how do we use it to forge something to kill these motherfuckers type thing, you know?
And that is why I miss Professor Diligence in the chat.
Yay. So that's it. I'll share the page.
What you got for us, Sam?
Okay, so not much. I liked the scenes. I enjoyed them when there wasn't, shit on my screen, because that was gross. But other than that, the only thing, Lady D, awesome that you could freeze it and look that deep into it. I did not even try. You are amazing. But the only thing I came up with was that dagger has to mean something. They would not be showing it to us if it wasn't going to play out somewhere down the line. So, I mean, as far as those scenes are concerned, that is literally all that I came up with, other than me liking what was going on. So, yeah. Go ahead. Whoever else wants to go.
Hey, T.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I want to say that, I want to freeze the frame so I could read the page. And I always mess my girl with my twinsy because she's always looking at those little minor details. But of course, y'all know I couldn't really enjoy this scene because of dirty ass Jorah. And I'm pretty sure that Sam scene would have been epic. And I'm kind of worried for Sam because he's starting to become like a little thief. Like he's his first stealing his dad's swords. Now he's stealing books. Like he's starting to go on a bad path. And then I feel like we're ignoring the fact that this man is really clearly like breaking the rules of the Night's Watch. Because like basically Gilly is his wife. And he's basically following that kid. And I know I'm probably wrong for this, but that little kid creeps me the fuck out. I don't know if it's his eyes or because he's starting to look more like the Night King or the dude that, like in that flashback scene, the guy when he was a human form, the kid reminds me of that. So it creeps me out. And I'm just like, that kid, it reminds me of the little kid from The Omen. Isn't that what the name of the movie is? It's somewhere. Yeah. He reminds me of that, so that's the only thing I really got out of it. But once again, I just wish Jorah would just stop fucking touching shit. I really think that it's to the point where it's like, what's the point of grayscales and being scared of it if dirty ass Jorah can touch literally everything he comes across and no one even like gets affected, nothing happens. Like, why are you even touching shit with your bad hand? Like, why couldn't you touch with the good hand? Why do you need to touch someone to speak? Like, who does that? And then, of course, you got this nasty ass hand. What is it like? He feels as though he can't talk unless he lets people see that nasty ass hand. I just don't understand why he has to keep touching shit. It just doesn't make sense to me. Even like, is it to say that, eventually it'll be like a grayscale breakout? Like, why didn't they give him like something to cover it? Or Jorah just needs to touch his face and end his life. And I know that's so fucked up. I'm just over Jorah. It's every time he touches something, it just grosses me out. And then somehow I get angry about it.
That was
I know it's so weird.
in the whole thing. That hand came out. I was like, oh no.
It didn't even just slightly come. He's like, he threw it out there and started randomly wiggling it around. It's like, get your nasty hand back in there. It's just so unnecessary. I just feel like now he's so fucking petty. He's like, well, if Danny's not going to be here, I'm just going to keep touching shit. Like, I just want someone to slit his throat and just be done with it. Like, the Citadel does a lot of sneaky shit. Jorah's the one that needs to go. Why should Tormund be probably gone and he gets to just keep touching shit? It's not fair.
Hashtag trigger.
Well,
Jorah.
I know how you feel, T, but the Grayscale is going to play an important role in the future of the story, not only in the show but in the books. Because remember, he's essentially playing the part of one of the characters that has Grayscale in the books. Mm-hmm. And so there's a specific reason why that this person is also now in Westeros. So eventually that there may be some sort of an outbreak. And Dragonglass is going to play a very important role, as we see now, more so based on what Lady D just provided to us, the information that she just provided to us, is going to play a major role.
There's going to be an outbreak. It's going to be because of Jorah.
Of course. Where else would it come from?
Dirty ass Jorah.
I have a tinfoil thought. I'm sorry. I totally agree with you, T. Ugh, Jorah. What if the Stone Men can fight the White Walkers without turning into White Walkers or dying? Just a thought.
Everyone's still gonna die. Either they're gonna turn into a white and get burned, or they're gonna get Grayscale, and then they're gonna die.
Yeah, even though
because they might not be possibly able to warg them. Because don't they kind of lose it?
They do. So how are they gonna point that army in the right direction? I guess
it's not necessarily someone to lead it, but it's just to say that there's also another defense to it. I like the idea, Sam.
Thank you, T.
What you got, Timo?
I love you, T. I'm over here dying. Okay. Sam, not much to say. I weirdly liked the montage. Like, not that I like shit. I mean, I don't get grossed out by that. I'm a nurse, so come on. That doesn't gross me out. But the way it was cut, like, I like the way it was cut. It was really nice. I agree, T, that baby seemed very weird. Like, I know you're not supposed to talk about, like, kids and shit, but I'm not having any, so I can talk about him. He looked weird as fuck. The dagger. So, I don't know if it's, like, crazy tinfoil thought, because this is now, we saw it a couple times, and in some promotional things, right? So, could the dagger be Lightbringer? Maybe? No? And B, you said something about injecting Dragonglass as a cure for Grayscale. So would that mean he's like binging in a way? And if that's the case, is this whole Firelight thing that I wrote off, is that, you think that could be a thing?
I think that the book is saying that it's that like ingesting, not injecting it, but like eating it, dragon glass is a cure for illnesses, like period. Like some people believe it's a cure for dragon glass, period. It's just a little pointer that talks about it, and you don't get to see the rest of the line. So I think it's just like a general illness thing. And I think they'll probably just try it on them because, I mean, if it cures illnesses, why not? And the fact that it's frozen flame, I could see it just sort of doing what McCorrell did in the book, where he burnt Victorian in a new arm. I could see the dragon glass, I guess the powder, or whatever, however he eats it, burning him from the inside out, and I guess cleaning him.
Yeah, that would kill him, right? I just automatically thought of binging. Like, I don't know.
I would think that if you're attacked by like twice or something like that, and you're already dying, and then
Yeah.
there's ice magic on you, then the frozen fire would probably keep you alive, right? Because it'd be some heat
Yeah.
like heart.
So
Whereas
if Jorah goes to fight them, he might be okay.
maybe it's not really in his heart. He's just eating it, so it'll just sort of cure the grayscale, and it'll just I don't know. It's like a vaccine or something. I'm not sure how it works, but I sent you guys the pictures. It's inside the chat thing.
But that's all I had to say. Just like had my mind thinking for a minute.
Cool.
That's what she do.
Cool. Okay. So let's move on to Arya meeting up with the soldiers in the Riverlands on her way so apparently Arya is heading to King's Landing, and she meets up with these group of Lannister men, and she sits down. They invite her to sit down and to eat with them. So there is, to me, the first thing I thought about was guest strike, because remember, because she tried to refuse to eat anything or to drink anything. But then after she sits down and she starts observing who they are and stuff like that, like, 'cause she's looking around, looking at their sword hilts and all that other stuff, and she starts asking them questions kind of casually, and they're offering her, something to eat. And then that one guy says, that somebody told him if he's nice to strangers, they'll be nice to you. So that kind of invites like this kind of guest right, or some sort of version of a guest right thing, so that if they offer her food and she accepts it and eats it, then she wouldn't kill them. And she casually just sits there, but even while she's casually sitting there having a conversation with them, and she's asking them questions, it's like she's gathering intel. At least that's the way that I'm looking, like she's just gathering intel. And the way that when they ask her, what she's doing there, and she casually says, "Oh, I'm going to kill the queen," and they like all look at her and start laughing. It's like so funny to me. You tell them the truth, but yet they don't believe you. So it goes to show how unassuming people consider her as. Nobody would ever consider her as this really dangerous assassin, because she doesn't fit the part. I mean, she doesn't look the part. So AK, why don't you kick us off with what your thoughts are?
I'm mad HBO being my boy Shiran a damn Lannister soldier, man, because he's probably gonna end up dead. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I really wish that she would have just kept riding on and just didn't bother with them at all. I mean, she's kind of eating their food now, so that's guess right. But like someone just said in the chat, guess right don't mean what it used to anymore because of them damn phrase. So who knows how the hell that situation's gonna end up. Although judging from the preview, it doesn't seem like it's gonna go very well. And there might be some more Lannisters dying.
I haven't seen the previews.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I just said there might be some Lannisters dying. That's it.
What you got for us, Lady D?
Okay. Lady D is eating ice cream, so full disclosure, right? Now, this goes along with what I was talking about earlier with Arya as the stranger. I really feel like Arya is just the stranger, yo. And it's that line that the boy says, "Oh, my mom told me to be nice to strangers, and the stranger will be nice to you," right? And she is the stranger. But I think, unfortunately for them, that it doesn't matter, and she's still going to kill them, right? I think she's going to kill them, and she's going to steal the face, because it'll make it that much easier to get into King's Landing and to get to Cersei. So I think she will end up killing them. I think it's interesting that even after she sat down or whatever and agreed to eat, she still was looking at the swords and And then after she ate and everything, because I hear you guys was guess right, both of them. I know it's like, oh, it's funny that she just said that, but she had no idea how they were going to react. That means in her head, she already worked out exactly how she was going to kill each and every one of them. She already worked out, I'm going to save this. One of them's going to jump up. He's going to go over here. All 5 of the swords are over there, and I'm going to kill them like this, that, and that, like Sherlock Holmes on her head. So I think that she'll probably kill them, definitely. Because I thought it was a little weird and eerie because she's all strange and like quiet, and she's not all bubbly and like, I don't know, that fussy little mousy girl anymore. She's very dangerous. And I can't wait till she gets to King's Landing. Even though I feel like when she gets to King's Landing, she won't be able to get to Cersei because there'll be too much going on. That's all.
Joe Dirtylocks was saying the exact same thing you just did, that she's going to steal a face and also a uniform, and that's going to be her in. And I agree with you both.
That would make a lot of it just seemed to me, it was just, at least for me watching it, she was gathering intel. That's just the way that I looked, the way that she just, and all of it was just very unassuming. It just seems very natural, like they were none the wiser, but I guess us as the viewers were looking at it knowing who she is. And it just seems to me something popped up in my head, how these 2 Stark girls are now becoming real cold-blooded. Anyway, let me move on. What you got for us, Sam?
Okay, so I just have to say to everyone in the comment section, especially BBM, please stop talking about Ed Sheeran that way. Like, no, don't break my heart. I love him. I really have nothing much to say other than I think it was just Arya getting information. I don't think they even think, aside from Cersei being paranoid, maybe, I don't think anyone thinks Arya's alive at this point. Like, they have no proof that Arya is alive. Even Cersei has not mentioned Arya in a damn long time. And so, yeah, I don't think that their thoughts are on Arya, but they should be, because Arya's going to kill them all. But, yeah, so that's it. Go ahead, T.
I was in a chat, AK, talking about the trolls and trolling is life. Okay. As far as Arya, I have to agree. It looked really creepy having this little girl just randomly riding her horse and seeing those Lannister men. But when she got off the horse, I was like, oh shit, she about to kill all of them. Like, I still think they're gonna die. I think no matter how cool they seem and how friendly they are to her, technically sent because of what she did. So technically they're there to basically stop her. So I feel like as long as they don't stand in her way, tells me that they might try something, as far as like if she does something. That doesn't make sense, girl. Anyway, I just think that if something were to happen where they would get in her way, then she will kill them. Now, as far as Arya, I don't think she's going to make it to King's Landing. I have a feeling that she might run into, what's his name, Hot Pie, and he's going to tell her about Brienne and how she was serving her sister and all of that. And that's probably going to turn, or she's going to get some information that Sansa and her brother, and I think that's going to make her turn around. Because then, never mind, let me not say that. I just think that that's how it is.
Cool. Timo, what you got?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that someone or something will divert her north, because she's not going to King's Landing. I don't believe she's going to King's Landing, and I don't believe she's going to kill Cersei, at least not this season. So I really think something is going to bring her back north. As far as like the guest right, she doesn't give a fuck about that. Like, she just killed the whole family because of that. So I'm sure they're dead. I agree with Joe when he said that, like, she was just scoping out the scene and trying to find out the best way to kill him, take the uniform and go, but something's going to bring her back. I do think that it was weird to see her laugh. I don't know why, but it seemed very just weird and psychotic. I don't know.
She creepy.
She seemed very,
She's real creepy.
yeah, she seemed very
She was-
psychotic laughing. She kind of scared me.
She did. She's laughing like, "Oh my God, I'm talking to dead men right now."
I think that's the whole
Exactly.
point. I think that is exactly the point that is being conveyed. That is what she has become. That's what she's become.
I think
Yeah, she's that laugh. Oof.
I honestly
love
thought
it.
it was. I thought it was more of a laugh of, "Oh my God, if they knew who I was, they would be trying to kill me right now, but they have no clue."
You know, I think that laugh was like, I wish they would try to kill me right now.
No, I think
It's a combo. It's a combo.
I honestly think that Arya is. I love her, but I think she's twisted enough to want them to go back to their commander or whoever and say, "Oh yeah, we saw this little girl and she said she was gonna kill the queen," and then it's gonna get back to Cersei, and Cersei's gonna be like, "Oh my God, where's Arya Stark?"
Oh, you know what?
I
This is
would
another thing.
love that. I would love that. What'd you say, Timo? I'm sorry.
No, Cersei doesn't need to be trolled. Okay, she's gone through enough.
Hold the fuck out of her.
Really?
I realized that there's been a lot of people complaining about Ed Sheeran. Like, personally, I have no idea who he is. So that scene didn't bother me. Nope. That scene didn't bother me, not one bit. I didn't even know he was some famous guy. But I just want to tell people to relax. There's been cameos every season. Like, it's okay. Relax.
Which one? Which one was Ed Sheeran?
See?
The redhead.
Redhead. If you've seen The Hobbit, at the end of the first one, he sang the Icy Fire song that plays at the end of that.
Oh, the one that looked kind of cockeyed?
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know about the cockeyes, but he has red hair.
I also want to make a
relax. That's it.
I also want to make a point to everyone complaining. He's a huge fan of the show, and also he was brought on to appear in scenes with Maisie, who plays Arya, for her birthday.
Yeah, so people need to chill the fuck out.
He doesn't. It's not like he had some scenes. He didn't even talk. All the other guys. He literally sang like 3 lyrics, and that was it. He looked up. That was the only thing. So I don't know. I feel like that's when you become nitpicking.
Agreed.
Because I don't see how you can complain about it. He literally was singing, and then he stopped when he saw her, and everyone else started talking. I'm glad that they didn't give him lines, because I think that would have been pushing it, and people would have kind of got out of it because they recognize him so much. Did was sing,
and there's been cameos.
Yeah, like
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything wrong with that scene at all. And I don't even know who he is. I didn't see any, I didn't think anything was. I think they all did it. I think that scene played out the way that it was supposed to play out.
And the song they were singing, wasn't that song about Bran? God, it was something in the book. No, it was just. It's something in the book.
No, it was an original song for the show.
Oh, I thought I remember the lyrics from the book. I just don't know which book. I'll go hunting for it later. Maybe somebody in the chat knows.
I thought they said it was an original song, like they were making it up.
I don't know. The lyrics sounded familiar.
It sounded like that song that Bronn was singing about Adornishment's wife, but then it also kind of sounded like the Rains of Castamere a little bit.
Either way, it wasn't a big deal. People stopped bitching.
Yeah, he'll probably be dead in like 2 more episodes. Don't
rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Besides Dragonstone, what else do we have left?
The Hound and the Brotherhood, but those are the last 2 we have. The Brotherhood Without Banners and the Hound, and then Dragonstone. There's not really much that we could really say about Dragonstone because it was the last scene, and it was just Dany walking and touching the ground and touching everything.
Touching shit.
He touches shit so much, just like Jorah. Don't touch the ground. Just get in the damn castle and fucking get to work. Damn it.
That's all she was really doing. She was touching the sand. She was touching the rocks. She was touching doors. She was just touching.
Connected with Jorah.
And y'all Stannis fast was sick as shit when she took down his sigil. Like, that bitch. He's dead. Get over it.
Didn't you guys think that line was a little cheesy? Like, I hardly ever like bash the show, but that line was so cheesy to me.
What line?
Oh, the last
I liked it.
I did too.
Oh, it was cool.
Oh, I rolled my eyes like,
I'm
I'm not a Danny fan, so maybe that's why.
I'm not that big of a Danny fan either, but then again, I'm not whatever, but I thought that was cool. It almost you know what it reminded me of? Did y'all ever watch the second movie of Star Trek with Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he has the same line, "Shall we begin?" That's exactly what that reminded me of.
You know what it reminded me of? That part in Captain America when Black Widow was trolling Steve and talking about the damn Saw movie. Would you like to play a game?
Yeah.
There was one part of that scene, like the whole Danny part, that I really liked, and it was the dragons flying over Dragonstone. I almost wanted in the next scene when they pan up to Dragonstone again, I almost wanted them to be sitting on the roofs, but they weren't there. I got a little sad.
Gargoyle
Look good.
So
it
beautiful.
looked good, but it didn't look as great as I wanted it to look.
I loved how it looked. Like that whole side.
I thought the only thing that kind of threw me off was like there was nobody there. I was like, I would have expected to find somebody there. But I think my mind was still thinking about the books, and that was probably what threw me off. I was expecting that they would have had somebody there, or somebody will just pop out of the woodwork and be like, "Ah, gotcha."
But hold on, was there nobody there? Because why did Grey Worm react the way he reacted?
Because he's Grey Worm, and he's always ready to go.
Yeah, but like, if there was no threat whatsoever.
He didn't know that. He's captain of the guard. He got to make sure.
Exactly. See, Alicia, I'm with you, because why would they let their queen go in first?
Exactly. That's why I'm like, wait a minute, man. Let me open the door. Damn it. What the hell are you doing?
You shouldn't go in first. They don't know what's behind those doors.
Lord Commander understands that mentality. He was totally on point with his job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The castle was completely abandoned, which seemed a little weird to me because castles are never completely abandoned. Especially. But I guess for the sake of moving the story forward, they just decided to do that. Once they got rid of Stannis, they decided to get rid of everything that was associated with the Baratheon line anyway. So I guess for the purpose of moving the plot forward, they did that.
No, Stannis said he took everyone with him. He left no one on Dragonstone.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Dragonstone was totally empty.
But that's stupid of Stannis to do, though, because, like, okay, let's say you win the war, somebody could easily have just taken over your keep. You know what I mean?
He was pushing so hard in the north.
But hold on, he had no care in the world for Dragonstone. He wanted Storm's End back from Renly. He didn't want to be at Dragonstone.
Even though that's the seat that you give someone when you want them to be next heir in line, but whatever.
You know Robert wasn't thinking about that shit. Come on now.
But that's the truth. He always, Mr. All my life, I had to fight for some shit. Like
Robert just wanted him out of his hair.
I do think it was
either way.
But that is the truth. The Dragonstone was the ancestral seat, so that is who T is right. That does go to the. He could have bequeathed it to whoever his future sons were going to be, but he didn't. He gave it to his brother.
He did that
to Robert did that to fuck with Stannis. We know what Dragonstone means. Robert knew what Dragonstone meant, but Robert wasn't giving it for that reason.
Exactly.
I don't know. I give Robert the benefit of the doubt, and the only reason why I do that, the only reason why I give him the benefit of the doubt is because we're getting it from secondhand. We don't have a POV firsthand to really know that was what his actual intentions are. Everybody's we're just getting secondhand from people who thought they knew Robert, but I don't think anybody really knew Robert as well as they thought they did. Maybe
What's-
Ned.
Was it Robert or Ned who said that Robert sent Stannis there on purpose to get him out of his hair?
I think that was Jamie or somebody else, but it wasn't Ned.
Either way, that's the customary thing to do. They've been doing it for centuries. So I feel like Stannis was complaining about something that he wanted, but you could clearly say that he could. Oh, you know what? He's the Sansa of Baratheon.
Stanza.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not pulling her back into the conversation. Nope.
I think
Okay,
I control
all right.
everyone. Oh,
just to finish my thought, I think that, like, I really think that was stupid to just leave a big castle like that, a strategic one like that, just abandoned. But I think it was interesting that she walked past the throne and just went right to the table.
yeah, like let's get to. I mean,
in business. That's why I like
she's been trying to get there for like 6 seasons, so I'm glad she's not sitting in the throne. No, get your ass on that table. But shout out to damn, I forgot who said it, but they was like she need to wipe down the table before she use it.
that whole castle need to scrub down, like for real. There was like all kinds of gunk and grime, and
Hold
who
on.
knows?
Too. That was the section where he banged that old lady too.
Hold on. Speaking of the old lady, how long until we get Mel at Dragonstone?
Next episode, probably.
Who knows?
Lady
D, now, hold on. So Lady D, what do you have to add? You still eating ice cream?
No, she just said her laptop turned off.
Oh.
So I don't know if she'll be back on or not.
Okay, so if you come back, she'll just chime in and then we'll give her an opportunity. So I just want to move on to the last one we have here, which is the Hound and the Brotherhood Without Banners. So of course it was the Hound comedy hour. He was being, Sandra Clegane, doing with the one shots, and I think the two things that stood out to me the most, him, as much as he has PTSD because of fire, he makes the point it would be his luck that he would end up with a bunch of fire worshipers, knowing that he has a fear of fire because of the fact that he was burned by his brother. But interestingly enough, he looks into the flame and is able to see through the flames, which put the question in my mind: will he now become a convert to the Lord of Light? You know what I mean? Because remember, he has a fear of fire, but fire is the medium through which the Lord of Light communicates. So is the Lord of Light gonna use that as a means of helping him to overcome his fear? That was just one of the questions that I had in my mind. Two, I also, another thing that stood out to me was him burying the father and the daughter, because the old Sandra Clegane probably wouldn't have really cared much about it. But I think the time that he spent with the elder brother, he's still on this redemption arc, if you will. I don't know how else to term it, where he's trying to do right, instead of having this cynical view of everything all the time. He's still trying to do the right thing by the small folk. And I think him burying that father and that daughter, because he had come across them before and he had told Arya in that beginning scene that they were as good as dead anyway. I think that kind of brought it full circle, because the winter came and they ended up dying. And so I think out of respect, he went ahead and buried them, because I don't think the old Sandra Clegane would have really gone through the whole trouble of doing that. Me personally, I would have burnt them because, White Walkers and stuff and all that other gibberish, but hey, it is what it is. So, now that Lady D is back, hey, do you have any thoughts about Daenerys landing on Dragonstone?
I do. I think it was great to see her land. I think it was like finally she's back. And it's like the place where she looks like she belongs. Like Danny is dressed out in full battle gear, looking like Aegon the Conqueror, yo. She just walked straight up to Dragonstone. And I loved how everyone just sort of hung back and let her have those moments. She gets to say, I'm home, like I have a place now. You know, you walk up to your awesome castle that's already decked out with like dragons and obsidian and a frozen fire throne. So I think it was awesome just getting to see her do that. I don't think that it was corny for her to do the let's begin thing. Like I thought that was like cool because it's like they didn't say anything, you know, everybody was pretty much quiet and then it was just like, all right. So I'm looking forward to them moving fast and us seeing what happens.
Cool. AK, what do you got with respect to the Hound and the Brotherhood Without Banners?
I thought that whole scene was pretty awesome, and I didn't figure out until near the end that it was that same father and daughter from the earlier season, but I thought that was a really great callback, and the sense of responsibility that he seemed to feel to bury them was kind of cool. I was saying the same thing. I think he should have burned them, but you know, then maybe that won't even come into play later on. I question how he was so easily able to stare into the flames and see something, but you know, we need to move time along, and we're supposed to be going at like, you know, breakneck speed this season, so I'm not gonna look into that too much. The comment about Thoris's little top knot, which I was talking about not 5 seconds before the Hound said something about it. I'm glad that came up because I'm sorry, that needs to go. Thoris, it's not attractive at all, sir. I need you to just have your hair back in a regular ponytail like everybody else, and let's just handle that. Probably not something that's important that I should even notice in the scene, but that's where my mind went. Y'all know me, I'm simple.
Yo, the Hound was like delivering like comedy gold throughout that whole, even it was just comedy gold. But I love the Hound. I love the Hound. He's one of those really cool characters. He's like one of those, he just tells you how it is. Hound truth. He just tells it like it is. And I can appreciate that about his character. What do you got for us, Lady?
I don't have anything. Is that bad?
Come again? Nothing in that whole scene stood out to you at all?
No. Is that bad?
No, it didn't resonate with you. That's okay.
I love you.
No, like, cause I saw from the beginning, like, I was like, okay, well, that's the inn at the crossroads. Those are the people that you robbed, whatever. Like, for me, it was like, okay, it's more like, okay, well, the Hound has to like face his past sins type of thing. I don't feel like he was good for it. I feel like, okay, now he's starting to feel bad because quite honestly, they probably could have lived a little bit longer if he didn't steal their silver and shit. So. Is that bad? Everybody's quiet. Like
no, that's not bad. That's why I said that. I think the time that he probably spent with the elder brother, kind of, which is probably why he felt. I guess this was his way of making amends. It doesn't take it. He had to have felt some sort of guilt or remorse about what happened to those two people. Because when you listen to the conversation that he has with Beric Dondarrion, he actually said if there was, I don't know, I can't remember the words exactly, but he's saying that he would have been dead and that little girl would have still been alive. You know, if there was any real justice, or if there was a God or something to that effect. You know what I mean? So I think him burying them was his way of kind of saying in his own weird words, saying he's sorry and making amends, even though they're not alive, but he can at least do this for them in death. So, and AK, to your point with him being able to see into the fire, you know what I looked at it as? You know how sometimes when you are, some people, when they don't, there is no level of resistance. You're able to, you're more easily able to be a medium than for those people that try too hard. You know, like how some people can be hypnotized and some people can't. So it could very well be because of the fact that he has such a, I think he has such a traumatic experience and relationship with fire, that fire kind of reverts him back to his childhood, which puts him in this set. He's at his most vulnerable, and probably because of the fact that he's at his most vulnerable when he's near fire is what makes it easier for him to be able to see through the fire. I'm just spitting. I don't know.
But you know, that makes sense. I do also appreciate the fact that he tried at least to say a little bit of prayers, try to say some words over their grave. That showed a little bit of growth from being around Sept and Ray, I thought.
What you got for us, Sam?
Really, like, on this whole scene, the only thing that struck me as weird was him seeing in the flames. I figured that after his little adventure with Septon Ray, he would be more inclined to, you know, feel bad and feel guilt about what he did before. But other than seeing into the flames, that's the only thing that really struck me as like, really? This is the Hound. I don't see him going that way, but okay, we'll see where it goes.
Cool. T, what you got for us?
I enjoyed this scene a lot. This is also one of my favorite scenes. I love the fact that he was basically going in on everyone. My favorite line was he said, "I would be surrounded by a bunch of, like," did he call them fire cunts or fire worshiping cunts?
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was funny because it's like he hates fire and he's surrounded by people who just like come look at the fire, like, nah. And I like the fact that he was like, he really kept his distance. Like, I'll look at it from right here. I don't need to be that fucking close to the fire. But I did like the fact that he saw the flames and what he was saying. That's what really caught me. Because he was talking about East Watch, and we already know that Torment and Wildlings are going to East Watch, so they're already setting up that something's going to go down over there. So that's when I'm like, Torment is in trouble, I think, and that's making me kind of nervous. And I enjoyed the fact that when it how the fire kind of broke down, and then you see that the wall, and then he's explaining how they're all coming in. Love that scene. Love the scene with him. The people, because again, he was telling Arya, I believe in season 4, that, you know, he took that gold because he says basically they weren't going to last anyway, so it's no point. So I mean, we don't know, they could have probably lasted a little longer, we don't know, but he basically took that away from him, so he feels bad. So I like that scene. But overall, like, that scene, the one division with Bran and Arya scene were my favorite scenes throughout this whole episode. And yeah, who's La. I'm definitely scared for Torment. I think that he's gonna go. Oh, and I also like the little back and forth with him and Bran, where he was like, "Oh, you're a lucky man," after she basically beat the shit out of Podrick.
I forgot all about that damn scene. I was trying to explain to one of my homegirls that was watching with me why Tormund was looking at her like that and pretty much wanting to get his ass kicked. And she was like, so he's kind of like a Klingon. I said, yes, if that's the reference you need to hold in your head, yes. Fucking and fighting are the exact same damn things to Klingons, just like wildlings.
Yeah, I wanted to get to that, but we got sidetracked with the Sansa conversation, so I had to just like bypass it. But I truly enjoyed that Tormund and Brienne moment. What you got for us, Timo?
Where we at? The Hound, right? Yeah. first time I watched the scene, I was like, oh my God, this is taking forever. This is so long. Like, come on, let's get to the point. And second watch, I appreciated it more. I thought when he was reading into the flames, he was bullshitting. I was waiting for him to say something like, oh, you dumb cunts, I don't see shit, you know? Like, but I was a non-believer. Now I am a believer, and I'm like, well, what the hell? Is the Red God real? Because, like, he's been the only God doing things. You know what I mean? Like, the only one that's proven. If the Hound can see stuff in the flames, like, I don't know. And then the Hound saw fire at the Blackwater. Was Beric implying that the Hound saw something in the flames then as well? I don't know. It just opened up more questions than anything. But yeah, I love the book reference with the gravedigger thing. Like, it's like, oh, I know that. But that's it.
That's true. That's true.
Makes me think of John seeing something in the flames in his tent also.
Yeah, like I'm just like, well, shit, this guy is real then. That's it.
Phil's in the chat talking about 50 Shades of Torment.
No, Tormund can't die. Like, I'm in denial though. He's our into the wildlings. I feel like he's safe, or should be safe, right?
Ain't nobody safe. Come on, man. This is Game of Thrones.
Let me live.
I love Tormund. I love Tormund, but he's gonna die. And
Timo, don't be Cersei. Don't live in denial. Don't do that to yourself.
Don't disrespect Timo. Cersei.
Cersei is the best.
Better than
She did it to herself.
Better than Cersei.
Still talking about she bet.
I'll be honored compared to Cersei. Thank you.
Okay.
No, we won't do that to you. You won't.
She's doing it to herself.
I know, but we're not going to add on to that foolishness.
Okay, so we're coming up on midnight, and I know people got to go to work and go be adults in the morning. So I'm not going to drag this out. So we had a few questions. So what I propose is that we could come back and do a Q&A session. We've already got some questions that some people had asked already in the chat, so we can just take those questions and then just and then do like a Q&A session maybe towards the end of the week, maybe like on a Thursday or on a Friday, depending on everyone's schedule. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up with some final thoughts of what you thought about the this first episode overall. And then we'll go ahead and do our outros, and then we'll call it a night. So AK?
Yeah, and damn it, Dom, yes, you are late. But outside of that, thanks for coming by anyways. Liana and Arya are life. I love them too, little girls. And Arya is a crazy psychotic bastard, and she's still my girl. I appreciate the killer in her, as horrible as that may make me sound as a human. That's just what it is. I look forward to the rest of the things to come. Still shaming Euron a little bit, but his aura is a bit closer to what he should be. He's not the nightmare that is the Forsaken chapter yet, but maybe there's hope. So I'm looking forward to more of that. I am looking forward to seeing Dany actually begin and get it going, get it popping, and we'll just stay tuned for the rest of the season, fam. Appreciate y'all coming out.
Lady D?
I just want to say thanks so much for coming out, guys. I had a good time. Now, thanks for getting us all together, and Q&A later this week. No doubt.
Sam?
So I just want to say that this episode honestly was probably one of the best first episodes I've seen in a really long time. It made me more excited to watch the rest of the season. And like Monero, I went into it unsullied, but I can't continue that. I definitely watched the previews, although she hasn't. I cannot keep up with her. That's not happening. Once I've gotten a taste, yes. It's downhill from here. It's been YouTube and whatever else I could find for the last 24 hours. I am so happy that I got to chat with all of you lovely ladies tonight. And I'm excited to do Q&A. Hopefully I won't have work and I won't be on 2 hours of sleep like last night.
You were a trooper for that one. Sam hung with me through my whole live stream, watching the episode with me. I appreciated that.
And then on Don Willie's stream afterwards.
What you got for us, T?
Overall, I enjoyed the episode. I think Arya's great. I think Mormont's an asshole. I think John needs to stop being sensitive. I think Sansa needs to watch her tone. And overall, will stop touching shit at the end of the day. But Euron's trolling goals. And also, BBM, I'm proud of the trolling you've done. It makes me proud.
T-Baby has turned the whole...
Also, I've got a few videos out there, so check it out. Did a whole video on Jorah, did my review, and also did a comparison between Jon and Tyrion as far as dealing with certain things in Westeros. So check me out, you guys. And that's it. Shameless plug.
Damn it, Eli.
Eli Nerys.
What you got for us, Timo?
Thank you for inviting me. Again, I agree with Sam. This is the best opener, I believe. And I'm like crushing on Euron right now. I love his troll. I'm like loving it, and I feel so dirty for loving it because I'm Team Lannister, but fuck, it was funny. And I don't know, that was my favorite scene, obviously. Great show. Good to talk with you girls. And it's almost, let's see, it is 6 minutes until my birthday. So
oh my god!
Happy birthday!
Thank you guys.
Happy almost birthday!
Sound like Alice in Wonderland.
Happy birthday, Timo. Happy birthday, Timo. You like Cersei and it's kind of sad, but happy birthday, Timo.
Really?
Thanks, ladies, and good night, everybody.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and this episode was I thought it was good, especially going in not knowing what I was gonna see. I'm a throw that out. Y'all probably will see this if you've seen my reaction video. When that hand came out, I don't know why I thought about Victorian, because I was thinking about the smoking hand. I was like, wait, not Victorian, freaking Jorah, girl. I was like, it's Jorah, girl, not Victorian. But I thought this episode was great because it's pretty much now, this first episode has kind of laid the groundwork for what we're going to be working with moving forward as the season moves forward. So I appreciated it. It was a really good episode. So we're going to go ahead and call it a night. I want to thank everybody who came and hung out with us in the chats. I hope everyone had a great time. Please look out for our Q&A session that will be coming up later on in the week. I hope everybody has a blessed night. Please check out all of the ladies on the panel. I have their channels linked down below. Don't worry, Sam, I'm going to get you in there. And then, yeah, that's it. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.